everybody? Welcome. Ignore that sound. Welcome to the Party Brawl 6. We are in the grand finals here, and we have got an exciting lineup here today for you guys. We've got Becky's Babes versus the Obama Loving Libtards. And I am Eudor, of course, here with my co-caster Vestborger. How you doing, Vest?
I'm doing great, super excited. We got to see both these teams over the course of the first 2 days of the tournament. Both of them look really good. I have no idea who's going to win. It's going to be a lot of fun to find out.
Going to be a lot of fun indeed. Hopefully we get to see 6 games. Just speaking from the more gaming perspective, but I'm sure both these teams are looking for the bare minimum. 2 for Obama Loving Libtards and 4 for Becky's Babes. So, in case you are unfamiliar with the format, it is a best out of 3. Obama Loving Libtards versus Becky's Babes will play 3 games maximum for the first series. If Becky's Babes win, then they will play another best out of 3 because the Obama Loving Libtards have not lost yet. So then that second best of 3 will determine who wins. If the Obama Loving Libtards, however, beat Becky's Babes here in this first series, then they win the whole thing.
Do indeed. Definitely going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm a little bit curious how some of these teams will approach the draft, because I think that in particular, what jumps in my mind, I think, is a couple of like the key picks that some of these players bring out. Like, for example, Kite, always drawing that Echo band. Zakam often drawing, say, a Zac band. He's also looked good on the Jarvan. Sir Cave playing so much of the Warwick and the Kayn as well. If I remember correctly, Sir Cave was our MVP from the games, the final games yesterday. So some very strong players on both sides that I think may draw out a lot of bans. But the question then becomes, if you spend all your bans just target banning somebody, first of all, A, does that leave up champions that you wish you could have banned otherwise? And B, does that mean that those players are then useless, or does it mean they have such wide and varied champion pools that banning them, trying to ban them out with 2 or 3 bans just doesn't work, and then it's just a waste of time? So I'm certainly eager to get into Champion Select and see how these two teams will approach that task.
Yeah, we've got the constant problem of sometimes we've seen Kite in these tournaments and come to the conclusion that it's really difficult to ban him out at all. Like, he's got such a wide champion pool from what we've seen, and he's almost always done well. Didn't do as amazing as we had first anticipated during day 1, but day 2 definitely pulling out his strengths once again on that Fizz was a real terror on the Rift. Didn't make MVP, but overall still really, you can't count him out. If you underestimate someone like him, then you're going to have a bad time. And then, as we said, Sir Cave with the Kayn and Warwick, I don't know if I want to ban both, because you kind of want to take away as much from Kite, in my opinion, as you can. Soongale seems to have quite a unique champion pool in his own right, but I think you want to maybe ban out Kayn and then ban out Echo and then ban out whomever you want from Kite. Try to force him onto someone that you're comfortable dealing with, as in Futako. But then on the other side, Zakam played a really fantastic set of jungle games from what we were able to see on Friday.
He did indeed. Looked absolutely unstoppable on the Zac. Not sure if that's something they want to ban away from him, if they think that's something that they can manage and, you know, they don't need to waste a ban on it, or not really sure, because in the past we've also seen him on the Jarvan, and I think going way back, he's played a number of different picks and tends to do very, very well. I think my personal view would be that you can't really ban him out. I think basically maybe you put 1 or 2 bans on him just based on the comp you're trying to play. If you maybe you have an ADC, you don't want to have to deal with the Zac or the Jarvan or something, you want to put him on something else, okay, maybe you put 1 or 2 bans there. I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea because he's been so pivotal for his team, but it's kind of hard to say because I think, similar to Kite, I think he's another player who has a large champion pool and will have a big impact on the game regardless. So I think that sending bans his way is kind of like what you said for Kite, which is like just comfort. Like, who are you comfortable jungling against? Honestly, if I look at the perspective of Sir Cave, this guy, he tends to play Warwick. He tends to be very aggressive in the early game, and Zakam playing something like a Zac is not going to be like you can definitely invade him. So, I mean, Sir Cave might be comfortable just playing jungle against anything that Zakam has, and perhaps they look to, I don't know, maybe even throw some bans in the mid lane towards Taco just in favor of Kite, just in case, or maybe even in the top lane as well could be an option.
We're just gonna have to see what they do as we get into Champion Select, and Zac is the immediate response from Becky's Babes. Decided that is just too much of a problem. We had a real tough time bot lane and mid lane with that Zac. Don't want to see that popping out here. As the response ban from Obama Loving Libtards is the Echo to take that away from Kite. Don't want him on that terror. I think he said that he was rated one of the top 20 Echoes in North America, so could be problematic if that were to be left open. And then we've got the Xayah ban from Baz and Josh. We've seen him play this pretty frequently and doing pretty well, if I recall correctly. Then we just got a ton more bans. Aurelia and Fiora don't want Soongale or Kite to get either of those.
Yeah, we remember that game where they played the Fiora, Aurelia, Jax comp and basically just steamrolled that game, and certainly they do not want to see that happen again.
And then the final ban being Cho'Gath, but finally some picks are being locked in. Caitlyn for Faplord, a really strong, oppressive AD carry. We've seen Caitlyn specifically show up in huge ways this tournament so far. Gonna see what Faplord can do with it. As the Kled, abusive Uncle Kled locking in that Kled. Could
no
be
big surprise there. And the Jarvan is what Zakam falls back to. Another champion he did look really good on.
Could be a Kled main, but we can't confirm that.
Yeah, we'll just have to wonder.
Jarvan, a really heavy, influential jungler. Gonna see what Sir Cave wants here. Will he go with the Kayn or Warwick, or will he bring out something new to deal with this? And there's the Kayn. A really strong champion to sneakily get out of the Jarvan ult should any problems arise between the invades. So I believe that Kayn should be able to beat Jarvan in 1v1s. May see some invades. We'll have to see.
This is Sir Cave we're talking. I bet we're going to see some invades. I do think it's interesting that the Warwick was left up and he picked the Kayn. I think it's probably for the reason you just mentioned, which is that Kayn a little bit easier mobility. I mean, Warwick is fast with the blood scent and he can just leap away, but I don't think that's as reliable as Kayn's ability to get out of the Cataclysm to kind of navigate around the jungle. And definitely eager to see what he does in the early game. Like you're saying, will we see some invades? Will we see some 1v1s between the junglers? Not sure. But we have some more bans coming through. It looks like the Fizz, one more ban towards Kite.
Kite possibly going to save his pick for last. Will not get an ultimate counter pick, but it's going to be one of the last things that Becky's Fizz is going to lock in, and the Vladimir once again taken away from Kite. Saw him be a terrible problem, for lack of better words, here over in the last party brawl. And then we've got Ezreal and Tristana taken away from Baz and Josh, really squeezing his AD carry pool. Curious to see what he's going to go with. He's hovering the Lucian. And a Lucian Nami, not too bad of a combination. Increases Lucian's already ridiculous burst with her auto increase, and then you've got the bubble to just keep them right there. He's hovering it for a while, he's thinking about it. And there
Locked
it is.
in.
So it's going to be Lucian Nami versus Janna Caitlyn. Got a nice wave clear with Caitlyn along with the Janna with the shield. But it's also got the possibility for safe play and great disengage should they ever require it. But Soongale's going to get his Riven. Riven and Yasuo, two champions that he plays often. And then we're going to see Kite on Ahri. I don't think I've seen Kite on Ahri before. It's not really a champion I would expect when you think of Kite, when you play someone like Echo, Fizz, Katarina. She can be an assassin, just not the first thought process that would go in my head. But Morgana mid against an Ahri specifically. What do you think about that?
It's interesting. Obviously, you've got the Black Shield. We actually saw this matchup yesterday, if I remember correctly, the Morgana versus the Ahri in the mid lane. I would probably give the edge over to Zakam and Taco just because we already saw them play against an Ahri, and they were able to play around her ult cooldown. Like, he ganked early before she hit level 6, took advantage of that. And then once she was level 6, they took advantage of when her flash wasn't up, when her ultimate wasn't up. And they were able to play around that. It could be different this time around, though, because Kite's Ahri is probably pretty good. And he also has Sir Cave on the Kayn, who I think previously has shown a tendency to hang around mid and support Kite when he needs it, like when he was on the Fizz. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen again. I think that Sir Cave will probably have to hang around mid because I think Zakam definitely will.
Well, we'll have to see what these junglers decide to do. Riven versus Kled, both really high damage champions during the earlier stages. Kled building tank later on throughout the game, and then Riven just going basically full lethality. If she's allowed to pop off, it could be just really terrifying. You got a 5-0 Riven in your mind that just runs around all lane, going from top, mid, bot, mid, top, mid, bot, and then just getting double kills everywhere she goes. Not sure how she gets the double kill in mid, but she does. And it's just really awful. So do you have any insight on this bot lane with the Lucian, Nami, and Kate, Janna? How do you think this is going to go? Will the pushing power of Kate and Janna be enough, or the burst from Lucian and Nami? Or do you think it's going to play out differently?
I really like, actually, Becky's Babes bot lane here. They are going to have to be, I think, a little bit careful. They can't get caught by, like, a good bubble from Azure Candy and then let Bazan like, dive in and just start trading with them, because I think they'll lose that way. But if they can take advantage of Caitlyn's range and the fact that they have the Janna for the disengage, for the extra shielding, I think they should have a pretty easy laning phase. But they are going to have to be careful because Jarvan is on the map, Zakam is on the map. He could come in, and yeah, they do have the Janna. Caitlyn has a 90 caliber net. They have a little bit of escape potential, but I think they have to, like, be careful and just not get caught. And they should still have a good laning phase because Caitlyn should be able to kind of harass down the enemy lane. I mean, Nabi will probably keep Bazan fairly healthy, but as long as they can play around that range advantage pretty well, I think they should do okay.
I guess we'll just have to see what happens. Both sides have their advantages and disadvantages. So as we are closely approaching the spectator delay ending, for anyone who's finally just now tuning in, this is the grand finals of the Party Brawl 6. We are with the Becky's Babes over on the blue side versus the Obama Loving Libtards on the red side. Becky's Babes having lost in the finals of the winners bracket and then making their way through the last match in the losers bracket, and Obama Loving Libtards making it through the winners bracket entirely. They have played in the finals on the winner bracket, so we'll see if history repeats itself or if history is going to be changed here.
We certainly will. Two very strong teams, both looked very good throughout the tournament. Will be a lot of fun to watch. I think most likely where a lot of people have their eye on, though, is going to be that mid lane matchup, Taco up against Kite. Kite has always been a huge force for Becky's Babes. And they put a lot of bans towards the mid lane. They got rid of the, I mean, you might not think it, but banning the Fiora, the Aurelia, banning the Fizz, there was a lot of champions taken away from Kite here. The Echo ban away as well. So he falls back on the Ahri. Now, historically, this guy has proven that you can't really ban him out, but I mean, you never know. I mean, a lot of bans were thrown in his direction once again. The question is, was this a strategy from the side of the Obama Loving Libtards? Do they have some kind of answer for the Ahri? We'll have to see. Eyes definitely are on the mid lane and on these two junglers to probably back up those mid laners.
It's possible that they could have been thinking that he may go on the Ahri and hoping that he does, and picking Morgana specifically because, okay, finally, they picked Ahri. I could have done this or this. So, is it all strategy or blind luck or just comfort picks? Because you can't rule out the comfort pick here. Even if you see a bad matchup, sometimes you just want to go with what you're used to, what you're comfortable with. So we've got Electrocute on Ahri, clearly planning to delete people. That's more of what I'm expecting. But then we've got Press the Attack on Kled. Do Kleds usually take Press the Attack, or with the Guardian coming out, is that the new keystone for them?
So there has been a lot of discussion about this. A lot of, like, Kled originally was taking a lot of Press the Attack because his W gives him that increased attack speed on those next couple of autos. It was really easy to stack it up. But now with Conqueror out, some people are arguing that the problem with Press the Attack was you stack up the 3 autos, and then you have nothing left to actually take advantage of the extra damage now that's been procced. So a lot of people have been arguing that Conqueror is better, but a lot of kind of old school Kled mains really like to stick with the Press the Attack, and they prefer that. So I imagine with a username like that, Uncle Kled is sticking with the Press the Attack, probably something that he's really comfortable using.
I like how I keep confusing Conqueror with Guardian. Definitely.
Yeah, Guardian and Kled would be very interesting.
It's what we're looking for, but unfortunately, they did not read the patch notes. They're kind of just sticking with what they know, as we were saying earlier. So no crazy jungle starts here. Got some Wraith starts from Kayn, blue start from Jarvan. So no sneaky invades, no sneaky buff steals. Just gonna start off with the normal pattern here. And then of course Riven getting that cloth armor instead of the longsword. Perhaps just trying to worry about Kled's early game. And Kled actually getting quite a decent amount of damage out onto the Riven. Kled really showing his colors. And we've got Morgana on that Airy. Not really what you'd expect. A lot of Morganas like to take that Comet, but looking just for the pure poke damage of the Airy, I guess.
Suppose so. Definitely have my eye on his Black Shield timing, because Taka will have to Black Shield that charm or risk taking a ton of damage. But that can be pretty difficult to do, and I'm sure Kite knows that, and he's going to be trying to throw those charms out when Taco doesn't expect it. So definitely going to be watching that little trade there in the mid lane.
So both junglers are in the northwest part of the river, kind of getting nearer. Jarvan perhaps looking to catch Sir Cave out here. Sees that the blue is taken. Getting really close to each other.
Taking the Grump. Ping's coming down.
Jarvan taking a lot of damage. Kayn unable to land that skill shot. Oh, but Jarvan getting engaged by Riven, has to flash away. Kled's here for support. Riven backs off. And it looks like it'll just be a flash for Jarvan in exchange for the Grump.
I actually believe, did Sir Cave smite that, or did Zakam? I didn't actually see.
I don't
Looking
know.
at the cooldowns, it looked like Sir Cave was the one who actually smited away, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. We'll have to just presume that Sir Cave may have gotten it, because his CS was 20 to Jarvan's 17, so it does seem like they took the same amount of camps. So it should be Sir Cave's.
investigating the replay.
We've got our top analysts looking into the matter. Cave hovering around the bot lane. Could he make a play here? Got plenty of ward vision down. And it's something that we haven't talked about yet, but the Mountain Dragon. Do you think this is important for either team to take?
I think certainly any team with a Caitlyn is going to be able to do a lot of sieging, and they'll love that extra ability to take objectives faster. So probably a priority for Becky's Babes. On the other hand, though, I think that perhaps because I think the side of Obama Loving Libtards is not going to have as fast of a Baron take, they probably wouldn't mind taking the Mountain Drake just to like make up for that deficiency, and also to take it away from a Caitlyn comp. So I don't know. I bet both teams will have their eye on it, but the easiest avenue you can see is, of course, Caitlyn wanting to push down those towers, and the Mountain Drake giving her a leg up on that.
Yeah, we can already see the Janna and Caitlyn combo being incredibly oppressive. We don't see any 60 CS differences yet, but still definitely pushing in hard. Can make it easier for Zakam to gank, though. Gotta be watching out for that. But
he doesn't have his flash, so he'll have to be a little bit careful. And I did check, it was Sir Cave who smited away that Gromp, so Zakam lost his flash and got nothing out of it.
That is definitely unfortunate. Control ward placed around the mid lane to give Morgana that little bit of edge, a little bit of warning for when Sir Cave decides to pop around. And then Jarvan may be looking bot here. Could be going through the tri-brush.
Don't think he'll be spotted out. No, they have no idea. This could be trouble.
Jarvan is here. Doesn't burn flash for Caitlyn. The bubble doesn't land, but then Caitlyn flashes anyways, just to be safe. And overall, a successful gank. Manages to burn both flash and heal for Caitlyn, actually. And nothing burned for the side of Obama Loving Libtards. So, well done, well executed gank. The Ari Charm lands along with the Q. No fight coming out of it, but nice harass damage onto the Morgana. With a 10 CS difference, too.
Taco has got to be careful. We saw right there, the Black Shield was too late. That can't be the trend, because as soon as Kite starts getting the damage, he'll just be able to burst Taco down if he lands one of those charms.
Well, naturally, Riven had to burn teleport up top lane in order to try to miss out on a few minions as possible. Kled burning his earlier. So we aren't going to see any teleports bot. So got to keep that in mind for the future. Not really too much aggression early game. We've seen an invade from Zakam and a gank from Zakam, but aside from that, nothing from what we expected of Sir Cave. Kind of just trying to farm up his jungle and play passively for now. Kled and Riven having a little bit of a disagreement here. Kled's keeping pretty healthy and pushing Riven under tower. Got a 20 CS gold difference, or CS difference. Pretty significant, I would say. Riven's just not getting the better end of this lane. And then you've got the Lucian Caitlyn down there. Pretty even, despite Caitlyn pushing Lucian in for a lot of the game. Now Kayn is finally here. The Black Shield was thrown up preemptively. No sneaky ult charms, because the binding did land. And nothing will come out of that gank. Oh, but it is noteworthy that the Obama Loving Libtards have 2 control wards near the Dragon Pit. They could go and sneak this dragon away, and Becky's Babes would have no idea that it's happening. So they're definitely putting some priority over this.
Yeah, they have total control of that area right now, though. The Caitlyn, they were pushing in the Lucian and the Nami for quite a while, but after that gank, no summoners available. It means they got to be kind of careful, and as the Cam's flashes back up, he got a fearless gank off in the bot lane without flash on the Jarvan. Now he's got access to that summoner spell again. So in the end, on that first invade where he lost his flash, really lost nothing out of it except didn't get a Gromp that was going to go to Kayn anyway.
So we see a rare occurrence here over at the mid lane jungle area. Kite managing to pick up that blue buff. Not sure how he did it, if there was like an extra blue buff to be handed around, but Sircave handing a little bit of love over to his mid laner and now building up a 30 CS difference between Kite and Taco. This is not boding well for the Morgana. Morgana usually has a pretty good clear. It takes a little while for it to really come online. Another charm landing. The Black Shield, once again, just being a little bit too late. He's got to be able to pick that up really quickly, because otherwise this is going to be a kill. And he's being very aggressive. The flash in from the Ahri and the charm. Oof. Able to get Morgana. But then the Jarvan coming in with the Flag and Dragon. The ult will be enough to get Kite. The ult was just not enough to get away. The Flash Ignite was just a bit too late. So Flash and Smite.
Right here in the mid lane.
I'm a fool. Zakam, however, having a fight with Sircave, getting away. Completely blacked out. So I apologize for that one. But we've got Luden's rush for the Ahri. This is going to be a lot of pushing power. So, oh man, I didn't even notice. Caitlyn has got 100 CS at 10 minutes, basically. 105 at 11 minutes, more accurately. But that's almost near perfect CS, so well done to Faplord. It's not easy to do.
Certainly isn't. Having a good lane so far, and those summoners that he lost when Zakam ganked almost back up now. And there they are. We saw Taco fall the Kite in the mid lane. There was the counter kill for Zakam, who once again looking very good on the Jarvan. However, the trend has been, once again, Taco black shielding too late, and then not a big surprise to see Kite make an aggressive play, flash in, ignite charm, and he does pick up the kill. Taco has got to be careful. Perhaps he can try to kind of adapt his reflexes in this game to make sure he can black shield in time. We'll see if he can pull that off.
It's going to be crucial at later junctions because Ahri is just like Lux in the sense that the moment that CC lands, that could mean an entire team just barreling down on that one person. It could mean that that person is just going to be deleted and it's going to become a 4v5.
Zakam maybe looking mid again, not sure. He does have the Cataclysm up. Held the flash too if he wants to go for the flash flag and drag.
But it looks like he's just going for going back for his jungle. Gonna just back away. Kite playing pretty safely here too. Gonna clear out a control ward. And nothing much happening from Sircave aside from the gank in the mid lane. Is he possibly just looking to farm most of this game up and, I don't know, just try to get farm to get fed? Or is he just a little bit nervous? Is this the first game jitters? We'll have to see.
Not sure. He does have the Dark Harvest, and the thing about Dark Harvest is once you get 150 stacks, it becomes a lot better because early on, when you kill a monster, you get that empowered attack for just like a really short period of time, like 30 seconds or something. But then once you get to 150 stacks, then it lasts for like 5 or 10 minutes or something each charge. So it becomes a lot better of a keystone when you have a lot more farm and when you farm up a little bit later. So that could be what he's thinking, is he wants to get the evolution on Kayn. He wants to get the Dark Harvest up. That could be what he has on his mind. And he's even building a No Magic Mantle, building towards those Merc Treads. Doesn't seem to be playing too aggressive this game, which is certainly a surprise from Sircave, but perhaps it's just Warwick, which is more known for the early aggression.
Well, it looked like Kayn may have been doing the Rift Herald, but kind of backing off. Kled ulting for the mid lane, looking for that Ahri, and will not connect. The Ahri charm lands. Kled taking a lot of damage, taking a lot of tower aggro. The Jarvan flash and ult, but Ahri is barely alive, but then no more. The Kled ult or is being ulted by Kane. My game freezing up a little bit. Kane does manage to pick up the kill, looking for that Jarvan. Riven is here to support her team, though. Can Jarvan get away? The flag drag gets him the nice distance he may want. But this is a Riven. She's hard to escape from. Riven cutting off the path. The stun does manage to land, and the kill will go over to Sir Cave.
Kite played that so perfectly. He does fall, but he bought so much time for his team. They get 3 kills at the cost of only him. That's the best they could have hoped for. That was a 1 versus 3 to begin with. They got the reinforcements, and Kite able to ult out of the way of the turret, dodges everything from Uncle Kled, then ults out of the Cataclysm back under turret, eventually falls, but great plays from him.
Yeah, overall a 1 versus 3, but definitely something you're happy with if you're the one who dies. You're just thinking, it was totally worth.
Definitely was. Type that in all chat, hashtag worth.
Indeed, make sure to flash the mastery as well. Let them know that it
The
really
thumbs
was
up
worth
too.
it. Yeah. So still really really good CSing coming from Faplord. Once again, just keeping up that 10 CS per minute quota. Sir Cave popping up top lane. He's looking for abusive. He won't find anything. Pledge is just too quick of a champion. But Kite's sitting here in the wings. The charm manages to land. Can they do this? Sir Cave is popping in. The Kled
is no flash.
But the Jarvan flag and drag and the ult from Kite will be enough. Kite is now rooted from Morgana, and the Morgana ult will deal enough damage along with the Jarvan to get the Ahri. Sir Cave's taking a lot of damage. One more auto may be able to do it, but it looks like it won't be enough. It just won't reach. Riven's really smacking down.
Looking for the Morgana, he might find her.
Oh, the Riven ult is just enough. A 3 for 1 once again. Typing hashtag worth in all chat. Kite goes down, but 3 members of Obama Loving Libtards fall in the process.
They had the ward in the river. They spotted out Zakam, but they didn't spot Kite.
Nami taking a lot of damage there.
Zakam played that as well as he could. It was a great 3-man Cataclysm, but
Faplord
overall
going for the
just
turret,
too much.
Taking a lot of damage, though. It was Lucian and just immediately deleted by the Caitlyn. Was not
sure why he hung around.
Yeah, he was just not expecting that. This is a almost completely farmed up Caitlyn. She's stronger than your average AD carry will be. And now she's buying that Infinity Edge. Got those Berserker Greaves. This is going to be really terrifying to face. We've got a 4,000 gold difference. And not really coming out of any turrets. The charm lands again. The Black Shield was just not in time. Plenty of damage coming out into the Morgana. She's got about 20 seconds until she can use that again. See if Kite won't take advantage or not. Morgana's got to play really passively once that Black Shield goes down. Kled is looking maybe for Riven here, but can't quite find anything. The Kled ult will go down, looking for Kite. The Ahri ult goes down as well. Kled taking a lot of tower damage. The Caitlyn ult comes through, but it's just doesn't get through the Scar ult. Finally, the Scar will fall. Riven ulting and going in. The ult will not connect on the people that matters. It just brings everyone low, but doesn't get a kill. But this will be a mid tower, possibly even an inner tower for Becky's Babes, as they're 5-man pushing it. Lucian and Nami just have to kind of sit there and watch as it all unfolds. If we can't get the turret HP in here, directed camera. Let's try to be a little bit helpful here. And finally, after 18 minutes, someone's looking for the dragon. Something that Becky's Babes are probably looking forward to more than Loving Libtards, but not really a priority here, just a mountain. It's not really that amazing for either team as maybe an Infernal would be.
Canada to smite that blue buff away, barely got it.
Becky's Babes just deciding to fall back. Obama Loving Libtards here in full force. And They just don't want any of that right now. They're just going to go back, buy items. And after all those turrets to be taken, I would want to too.
Yeah, right now, 5.5k gold lead for Becky's Babes. That play in the mid lane got them 2 turrets in a row, showing off their ability to siege, and now they have a Mountain Drake as well. Not to mention, this team should have the faster Baron take. Certainly a lot of potential dangers out there for the side of the Loving Libtards, because Becky's Babes, they still... I don't think they have time to pick up the Rift Herald, but that Baron will be up in about 25 seconds. They can pressure that. They can bait it. They can also just siege down towers. We saw them. They didn't even get a kill, but just the pressure they generated in the mid lane with their team fighting abilities, they managed to just get 2 turrets off the back of that alone. Soongale is looking really strong on the Riven. That was the one weak point where Uncle Kled actually had a CS advantage. He still does, but it's only 9. But Sir Cave pathed up there a lot, and a couple of mishaps for the side of Loving Libtards means that Soongale is now looking really strong and is actually 3-0-2, has an advantage of his own.
Coming down, it looks like they're looking for the Caitlyn. It won't connect. Caitlyn just shoots out of the way. The Flak Drag doesn't knock up Caitlyn either. He's taking a lot of tower damage. Kled is popping in, trading the tower damage. Manages to get Caitlyn closer, but the flash in from Janna and the ult will keep Caitlyn healthy. Kled is forced to flash away. Ahri is here. There's not much that Kled can do other than just accept his fate. Ahri going for Jarvan, however, and manages to pick up the kill. And that's 2-0 in favor of Becky's Babes. A really great roam from the team. And you are right. Kled had a CS difference advantage initially, but Riven was able to pick up a lot more kills because Kled, Jarvan, and Morgana were those 3 people who died a few times. Just
the Baron.
Circumstances from Ahri dying. But yeah, Baron is getting started. They shouldn't be able to take this, but we see a flash in from Taco. It's just not enough. Sir Cave does manage to get the smite. And Taco is just trapped between a rock and a hard place and goes down. Riven picking up the kill, and Baron for Becky's Babes. Overall, the total skirmish landing up to 3 kills and a Baron for nothing.
We saw that Baron's speed was pretty quick, plus the Mountain Drake helping out as well. Now they got about a 9k gold lead. Overall, just another disaster in the top lane for Loving Libtards. Several times now, as the cam has gone up there, and they've done their best, but some miscommunication. The Kled ultimate missed onto the Caitlyn, and then Zakam really couldn't tower dive her 1v1, so he just kind of had to back away. Uncle Kled had to flash away after he dived again, and then by this point, so much time has been wasted that Kite came up there, the rest of the team was there to get 2 kills on the Baron. Really easy pickings for Becky's Babes. Loving Libtards, really just a lot of struggles here in the top lane, some missed ganks and missed tower dives.
Expended a lot of energy on that Caitlyn, but Caitlyn playing really well. Kled actually caught out here, hit by the Caitlyn trap, and will fall. Riven and Caitlyn slamming down that damage, and it looks like they're looking for this top tower. Morgana's all that's here to defend against it, throwing out the soil, but it's just not going to be enough to defend this tower. Lucian and Nami are backing, and it doesn't look like Sir Cave knows this, so just going to let them back. That's a lot of damage. The charm lands out on Jarvan. He can't get out fast enough. Forced to flash away. Or forced to flash in by Riven. Managed to get the tower. Ahri just going in ham. Electrocute coming in handy. Managed to pick up the Morgana. Lucian taking some damage. Caitlyn looking like she wants to dive this, but then there goes the surrender. And that will be game 1 in favor of Becky's Babes. Good game all around.
Indeed, we saw there at the end the strength of a fed Riven. Soongale able to just jump in there and finish off a kill after a great charm from Kite catches Zakam. Overall, just great play from the entirety of Becky's Babes, but particularly playing around that top lane. Sir Cave largely was just counter-ganking Zakam, but his laners played so well during the ganks, often surviving and buying time for the rest of the team to get there. A lot of great roams from Kite, too. This managed to just collapse and create a lot of advantages all over the map and just steamroll down turrets with this Caitlyn kind of siege-type comp, and then they just take the Baron real quick. And then by this point, they're so far ahead. Soongale's Riven does so much damage, as does the rest of the team, that just not a lot that the Obama Loving Libtards could do, and they do wind up surrendering.
Excellent play out of a lot of players, honestly. Really well defensive maneuvers under tower by both Kite and Faplord. I'm going to have to give the MVP over to Kite, however. It seemed like an even game throughout most of that, with Zakam providing a lot of pressure. Not getting too much out of it, but managing to buy his team time in order to get those 3 kills. Not just once, but twice. In 2 different circumstances, he gave his life in order to get 3 kills for his team and ended up snowballing them out of control. And was one of the top damage sources, I believe only beaten by Caitlyn. Yeah, only beaten by Caitlyn in terms of damage. So I'm going to give the MVP over to Kite.
Kite did look very impressive. I'm so tempted to give it to Kite. I think I am going to do the 50-50 split here and give it to Soongale. I thought that I'm always partial because early on in the lane there was that CS deficit, but then later in the game, just kind of coming alive and able to. I thought that he cooperated with Sir Cave really well in a lot of those ganks. They caught the Jarvan, forced his flash when they caught him around the Grob, and then a number of times they able to take down Uncle Kled. And I think largely it was Soongale just playing really well with the rest of his team, cooperating there, playing off of charms landed by Kite. I thought this guy was a major menace in teamfight, so he would be my MVP.
Very well. We've got 2 choices for MVP for you guys. Take whichever one that you believe to be more accurate. So, of course, that is only game 1. It is not definitive yet. We've got 2 more games at most, at least 1 more game here for you guys for this first series. And let me try to get you into champ select as soon as possible. We are finally here and just waiting for ready checks from the teams. But Vess, is there any ban adaptations you think either team should be making here? Do you think that Ahri was the problem, or do you think that Riven was the problem? Or do you think there should be no ban adaptations here for Obama Loving Libtards?
I actually think they should focus some bans around Soongale because Uncle Kled looked like he had the strongest lane of anybody. He looked great on the Kled initially. It was mostly jungle pressure and some like misplays up there in the top lane. I would chalk up those misplays to miscommunication, something that they can potentially fix for game 2. However, I think they should work harder to get him a better matchup there in the top lane. Not sure like how much he thinks the Riven is a problem. I mean, he did have the advantage early on, but I really think they should try to play around that top lane, play around Uncle Kled, maybe get Soongale on something he's less comfortable with. Because I think throwing all these bans at Kite, I honestly don't think it really does anything. The guy just gets kills no matter what champion he's playing. And when you've put 4 bans on the enemy mid laner and he's still getting ahead, like I think at that point the bans just weren't worth it. I mean, I really don't think there was a big drop off there from the Fizz, the Echo, the Irelia on to the Ahri. I think he plays all these champions pretty well. I think that you should just say, okay, just get Taco the safest matchup you can. Tell him to just play safe. He's going to have a CS deficit. Okay, just accept that, and then put a lot of your pick and ban focus up there towards the top lane, or maybe even towards Sir Cave. I actually, for the other side, for Becky's Babes, I would look at banning out Sir Cave. I think that if you get him off of the, or rather, I'm getting completely confused here. I also think throwing some bans towards Sir Cave is not a bad idea, because if you ban away, say, the Warwick and the Kled, or the Warwick and the Kayn, that is 2 bans, and I think at that point, Sir Cave may not actually have as big of an impact on the game. I think the bans are better against him than they are against Kite. I think focusing on that top jungle, banning them away, and hoping to get something better, because the Cam and Uncle Kled definitely looked really good in the last game. I think that if you focus the draft around them, they might have better luck.
Well, I definitely have to agree with you there. I think the Echo should be banned, because you don't want to give this already strong mid laner his best matchup, but I definitely agree that you should probably focus the majority of your bans on someone else. but we've already seen a bit of ban adaptations, or at least in order that they were banned already. Fiora being banned immediately instead of the Echo. And then we've got the Zac return ban. They don't want to see Zakam on that anymore. Comfortable with him on the Jarvan, maybe. And then once again, Aurelia banned away from Kite. Just don't want to see him on that weird pick that they can't deal with, because they probably haven't faced enough of it yet. See if Becky's Babes make any ban adaptations so far. Just the Cho'Gath, the third ban that they had last game, if I remember correctly.
It's an interesting ban. You have to assume they'll ban Kled as well then, because I have to imagine Uncle Kled would rather play the Kled than the Cho'Gath. We'll have to see. Oh, another ban towards Kite, though.
The Echo ban. I agree with the Echo ban. I don't know about the Relay ban. It definitely is something weird that you don't want to face, because it's kind of a rare instance to face. So you may not at all be prepared for it. But the Echo, 100%. You don't want to give the already strong mid laner, as I said earlier, his strongest champion. It's just asking for problems, because he's got more familiarity with that champion in all of his matchups that even a safe matchup could pan out bad for you, because he may know exactly how to deal with it. But we do see Kled insta-locked for abusive Kled. He wants no possibilities of that not being picked up immediately. We could see some AD carries being hovered for Faplord, and they will be locked in for Ezreal. Banned away by Obama Loving Libtards last time. Won't be banned out this time. And Sir Cave once again gets his cane. One of the two champions we're almost always expecting out of here. We didn't see any bans towards Sir Cave, as you thought maybe a good adaptation would be for the Obama Loving Libtards. They might think that it will be fine this way, that they were fine with the cane being there. And Soraka locked in for Azure Candy, a champion that she knows well, and she plays quite a decent amount of, if I remember correctly.
They should lock in the Jarvan right now. Having that Jarvan Cataclysm with the Soraka Silence in the middle is a great combo. They actually go with the Jhin instead, though. If I were the side of Becky's Babes, I'd ban away the Jarvan and get rid of that combo.
I agree. Soraka could be so problemsome, because the silence being thrown down when the Jarvan ult is thrown down, you can't flash away, you can't use Ezreal Arcane Shift or Janna ult to get everyone away. You just don't have access to your stuff, and it just often ends up, if it's a lethality Jarvan, giving him just enough time to kill you.
I'm actually curious if maybe Zakam is saying in comments that he doesn't like the Jarvan against the Kayn matchup, and they're actually not going to do it at all. Because I feel like if they were going to do it, they might as well lock it in then. Because with jungle not picked now, you have to imagine, there comes the Jarvan ban. So I have to assume that Bumble Living Libtards weren't planning on locking in the Jarvan to begin with, and maybe Zakam didn't like that matchup and they want to try something else.
We'll have to see what they're going to do. The Yasuo banned away from Soongale. Don't want to see him on that. The only picks that have not been chosen are Kites and Soongales. So basically Yasuo, Riven, and the entirety of Kite's champion pool are the ones to be looked at. We may see a Riven ban here come out for the 5th ban for Obama Loving Libtards.
We do what we must.
A Lee Sin ban. Not sure if Zakam is has played that a lot, but most certainly a target ban against him. And there it is, the Riven ban taken away from Soongale. What will he pull out? I believe he's got Gangplank left in his pool, but nothing else is coming to mind of what else he wants to play.
I do think this is a good idea. Like I said, I think focusing a lot of bans onto Soongale is a good strategy for the Obama Loving Libtards. I do think they should have thrown 1 or 2 bans towards Sir Cave. I think that he's really happy that they got that Kayn locked in early. There's the Camille in the top lane, though, for Soongale.
Camille's a champion that is similar in play style, I believe, to Riven. Not too similar, but somewhat similar. She's got great mobility, great lockdown, and great damage overall. And just keeps you right there as she's slamming you down. And then the Nautilus locked in. Is this a Nautilus jungle or Nautilus? Well then, that's
I'm not entirely sure how to read this draft, I'll be honest with you.
I was not ready for today, but I'm so happy today came. We see a Nautilus, Jackson, Kled. One of them's got to go mid. One of them's got to go support. I imagine it's going to be Nautilus support.
Well, they have the Soraka, though. I think it's going to be Nautilus in the mid lane for Taco. He played the Morgana. Yeah, there's the Ahri lock, and they're probably expecting the Ahri, and Taco thinks that with the Nautilus, he'll fare better than he did with the Morgana. The Black Shields weren't really in time, so I think probably a good idea to just say, okay, the Morgana is not working. Nautilus, a very interesting pick, though. Worth noting, we did see Scion in the mid lane a lot in pro play this season, so there's some basis, and the Galio as well, though Galio didn't build tank. There's some basis for some tanks in the mid lane, and like with this comp, they are going to have 3 pretty good frontliners along with a Soraka and a Jhin. I kind of like the comp overall, and I like that the Obama Loving Libtards are trying new things, because I think they have to. I think the most important thing here that we have to watch is going to be that matchup Kled against Camille in the top lane and how the junglers aid it, because I think you have to play around Uncle Kled, like I said earlier. So I think Zakam will be looking to gank that lane, looking to get the Camille. Sure, she can hook shot away, but they have some tools to lock her down as well if they can force a flash and then return gank. Something like that. If they play these ganks well, perhaps get Uncle Kled a really good lead there in the top lane. Could be good.
Well, you are right. It is going to be that Nautilus mid lane. I didn't see the Soraka, so I didn't think about the Soraka when I made that statement. But it's still, it's something I've seen actually not too much of, but I have seen it, and it can be painful. All he has to do is land a single anchor, and over half of your health as a mid laner is gone. So we're going to see if Taco is going to make any kind of aggressive plays, or if he is just going to play passively. I would imagine if you're going to go Nautilus mid, you've got some experience on him, and you're probably going to want to play a little bit aggressive. But then again, it's Kite, you know? You don't want to give him the distance away from your own tower that he needs in order to get a kill on you. So curious to see how he wants to play this out, because I've only ever seen a Nautilus mid be aggressive. So Jax and Kayn, how do you feel about that?
I definitely think the Jax is a good choice. My thinking is that Zakam said, hey, I don't like playing that Jarvan against the Kayn because I don't feel like I can 1v1 him. Kayn is having a much better time. We saw them actually 1v1 early on, and overall, Zakam not having a great time. So I think he picked up the Jax, saying, I want that better dueling potential. I want that, have that counter-strike, have the stun. And also, as well, I actually like the Jax's ganking potential, particularly around the mid lane. Pre-6, they can jump in. He can finish off that counter-strike and get the stun off onto Kite. Perhaps force a flash or something pre-6, and with the Nautilus hook, Nautilus is so fun to gank for because he's got such great follow-up, such ability to initiate and set you up for a good gank. I like that Jax-Nautilus combo there in the mid lane. I think Zakam will have a better time in the 1v1 against Kayn with the Jax now, and also his kit won't be so dependent on the flag and drag because he will have the leap strike as well, and he'll have the stun, can stun multiple people instead of just catching them in a Cataclysm. Obviously, when you're up against an Ahri, a Kayn, a Camille, and an Ezreal, that's 4 different people that could just jump out of a Cataclysm. Not a good game for Jarvan. I like the Jax here.
I think I have to agree with a lot of what you just said. The Jax it's got a lot more usefulness in my opinion. So, probably a little bit happy that Jarvan is banned away. So
yeah, I think they had their eye on this early. That's why they didn't pick it with their 3rd pick, because they knew it would be banned away. Especially with Soraka already there. I think it's a great combo to have Jarvan and Soraka. So I think they were saying, hey, let's wait till later. We don't need to lock up the Jarvan. They didn't want it, I don't think.
How do you think the matchups are going to play out? How do you think bot lane's going to play out specifically?
I tend to like Soraka into the Janna because post 6 you can silence Janna as soon as she starts her ult. So I actually think that the Soraka, having the Soraka there is really handy, and Soraka Jhin is something I've always really liked. Like, since I first started playing League, it's one of my favorite lanes to play because I think that they work really well. Soraka can just heal up the Jhin, buy him the time he needs to reload, stuff like that. And I mean, sure, you've got Ezreal, he'll be throwing those Mystic shots out there, but Soraka can just heal that up. I think, like I generally prefer Joshua and Azure Candy's laning here, but there will be some onus on Becky to be able to poke with the Janna W, because she has to be able to dodge the Star Call from Soraka, and she has to be able to harass the enemy laners enough that if you get Soraka really low, then the lane just ceases to function. So I think that it will kind of depend on the Ezreal and the Janna to poke the enemy laners low to be able to have a good lane, because if they can't land all those and avoid Soraka's ability to just innate sustain, then it's just going to be an easy lane for Josh and Azure Candy, and also a lane that Zakam will probably not mind ganking. Like I said, the disengage from Becky's ultimate, easy for Azure Candy to silence that, and then the only other thing they've got is the Tornado and that Arcane Shift from Ezreal early on. Pretty long cooldown for Arcane Shift, so possibly a place Zakam could look to gank.
Alright, well, if anyone's just now joining us, this is the Grand Finals. We've got, with 1 win so far, and looking to get the minimum 4 wins in order to win the whole tournament, Becky's Babes over on the red side. However, looking to make their revenge. All they need is 2 wins here in a single series, is the Obama Loving Libtards on the blue side. So, this is going to be a bit of a struggle for both teams. The first game can mean a lot. Of course, you got your first game jitters that could easily affect it, but mentality-wise, if you lose that first game when you're, you know, all you have to do is just win like 2, and the other team has to win 4 in a row in order to win, you're just kind of, it can be a lot if you lose that first game, because you could easily just think, oh no, if they win this next one, then we're completely on equal footing. Our advantage from coming from the winner's bracket is just completely gone. So curious to see if this is going to play at all into the mentality of these players, or if it's just something they're going to move on with. All right, well, that was last game. We've got our practice in. We're going to now crush these amateurs.
I think they should be okay mentality-wise, because like you said, they have that advantage coming from the winner's bracket. Dropping the first game, they can chalk that up to, oh, that was just chance. You know, we misplayed. It's okay. That's not going to happen every time. But if they lose this game and then they're on equal footing, like you said, I think that at that point they will require some mental fortitude, because that's where you start to wonder, can we actually win a game at all? We have to now, because this next best of 3 is what it all comes down to.
Indeed. So we've got a little bit of pushing already coming out of the Ahri. 6 CS difference, and Nautilus is forced under tower already. Kled just hitting level 2 and doing that nice little poke damage to the Camille. And Janna managing to already land some poke. Kite actually taken really low from the Ignite and the tower shots, and will die, giving first blood over. However, on the other side, Ezreal manages to kill Jhin under the tower. Not sure what happened there fully, but really great pull from Nautilus. Really aggressive play from Kite, and punished immediately.
Clearly, why Taco picked the Nautilus instead of the Morgana. He must have known something along these lines that this would work, and clearly it is. Didn't even use the flash on either side, just gets the Ignite, gets the kill. Excellent play from Taco. Really avenging a performance from last game. He looks great on the Nautilus early on. We'll see if he can keep it up.
That is true, because despite getting a kill on Kite, it's almost an achievement on its own. Can't get too cocky, because then it'll just all keep spiraling down. So he's still got to play safe, I believe, until he at least hits level 4 or 5, because that's when Nautilus' spike begins to become a problem for a lot of squishies, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's still going to have a hard time CSing against that Ahri. You can see already 8-19 right now. He is going to build some MR. It looks like he's got that no magic mantle. That'll help him out a little bit, but he's going to have a really hard time CSing. His main thing will be if Zakam comes in for a gank, supporting that, or doing like what he just did with the cheese puller under tower ignite. but I don't know that's going to work a second time. Here comes
A lot
Kite,
of
though.
damage from minions. Kite is on the back wing. Jin just ignoring it and going straight for Janna. Flashes in order to get the kill and accepts his fate as Kite picks up Jin. And then we've got some action up in the top lane. Kled and Jax being chased away by Kayn and Camille. Kled going back in for some reason. And then manages to get over the wall after Skarl is procced. Not burning a flash. Well played.
Smart play from Uncle Kled there. He knew he wanted to get to dismount so that he could use that pistol and just leap back over the wall.
Flash burned by Zakam and Soongale, but that's all that was burned for that. So may make Zakam's ganks less efficient, but may also open Soongale to a gank. See what happens, or if anything happens at all, because so many times we just see a flash being burned and then nothing coming out of it.
Yeah, we'll see if we see a return ganks. We did see that 2 deaths there for Bazan Josh in the bot lane. Managed to get the kill onto Becky in the end there, but does lose his life for it, and the kill goes over to the Ezreal. Overall, down a lot of CS. This is kind of the tough thing because early on, Soraka cannot really play defensively because the cooldown on her W is way too long. She can only heal somebody like once every 8 or 6 seconds. They've got to get to like level 5, level 6, level 7 before that cooldown starts becoming to the point where she can heal people a bunch of times throughout a fight. Early on, Becky and Ezra have done a great job of bullying them out and taking advantage of that long cooldown and Soraka's lack of ability to play on the back foot if you can avoid those star calls and make sure she's not getting healed up herself.
No hashtag worth this time. So we'll see how they play it out. Still only 6 minutes in. Can't criticize them too far. Dodge the star call there. Kite is showing up, hoping for that lane gank, but the trap will reveal him, and it looks like he's just going to accept that he was seen and head right back to the mid lane. Nautilus pushing in that tower, punishing Ahri for that roam.
Yeah, actually Taco CSing really well with Kite just roaming a lot. Having a pretty good time right now.
These roams are allowing him to catch up in CS, making his one weakness not really too big of a factor. We'll see if Kite can't get more out of these roams aside from just one kill that he got bot lane earlier. He needs some more to make that an even trade. Because if he can't get any more kills, then the CS difference that he's accrued in lane is just going to be nothing, and it will kind of be, here, Nautilus, why don't you catch up? I'm gonna go grab a pizza real quick. So the Dragon Ocean, what do you think about that? Do you think this is a priority for anybody, or do you think it's just kind of a dragon people can say, I don't really care too much?
Ooh, there's some action here in the mid lane. Here comes the Cam.
I'll ask you again after this whole action here. The Ahri ult burned, but nothing coming through for Jackson Nautilus. Flash kept from Nautilus, same with Ignite. Just kind of accept what happened. He's pretty low on mana.
Overall, I actually think both these teams would like the Ocean. I know as a Soraka player, it helps you recover health. It helps you recover mana, which does actually get pretty low if you're healing people a lot. It's something that she's probably happy to have. The Jhin probably wouldn't mind having that Ocean as well, at least until he gets the Essence Reaver and gets a little bit more kind of ability to just hang around in lane, or even if you get some lifesteal, but shouldn't really need that with the Soraka. I think overall it's something that both teams wouldn't mind having, but I don't know. It's really hard to say. I mean, probably the bot laners are the only ones that would really place any value on an early Ocean, and even then.
Kite, and the tower does not help enough. Taco falls to the Ignite. A great dive from Kite, very close. But as you were saying, not really a big priority. It's kind of one of those instances of, the dragon's not really that important. And I hate to say that, but it's probably just one of those instances where you can probably say it won't become a big factor. It wasn't a big factor at all like last time around. Only one mountain being picked up, if I recall. And that was at the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of those rakes that will just sit there for a while, and if somebody wins a big team fight, they'll pick it up if they're in the area, which sounds kind of silly, but that's probably the highest priority they'll place on it. Because like I said, these bot laners, they wouldn't mind having it. Other than that, not a big deal.
Yeah, it's not something you want to spend too much time or resources on doing if it's not something that's important to you. And often, I know I put a lot of emphasis on Dragon personally, and I understand that not too many people put as much emphasis on it, which just means it's basically an objective that could be free based on the circumstances. So, you're absolutely right. Most likely what we're going to see is a team fight being won and then picked up, maybe at the 20-minute mark or so. But so far, pretty decent CS differences here. Ezreal, 25 actually CS difference between him and Jhin. 30 CS difference between Ahri and Nautilus. Only a 10 CS lead for Kled against Camille. Kite taking a bit of damage there from Nautilus, but it's kind of only a small amount. Nautilus is unable to really punish Ahri right now.
It stinks for Taco. I know he didn't want to die there under tower that time he was low. I'm sure he's angry about that because he really could have avoided it and kept this mid lane something that's doing a lot better, particularly playing against Kite, who's such a strong player. If they didn't have that death, they should be really happy with the way this lane is going. But now, Kite is 2-1-0, still doing pretty well in lane.
So a bit of harass coming from the Ezreal Janna, building up a CS lead. Kled going in perhaps a little bit too far, taking a lot of damage from the Camille. Gonna back off and possibly recall. Yep, it looks like a recall. He's got not much gold on him, though. May just want to stay back and perhaps get a little greedy. You never want him back when you only have like 300 gold to attain from it. The Nautilus ult comes in. The Jax is here. The stun does not land, but the CC is there. And
they didn't chain that quite right. He was rooted right as the Jax stun came in. Kite able to ult away with like half his health remaining.
Yeah, definitely not the best CC chain there, but it did manage to make Kite burn his ult. We'll see if Taco and Zakam will do anything off of that. Good effort on their part.
They should know Kite used his flash earlier to kill Taco under tower. There's a window here where, like you said, Io, Kite does not have that ultimate ability. They can return mid and look for a kill.
We'll see if they do. Kane may be looking bot lane. Or maybe looking for the dragon. There's no words from either team on there.
You can see now, I think Bazan, Josh, and Azure Candy, they're having a little bit better of a lane with the Soraka able to heal them up a little bit better, but at this point, they're already at the CS deficit, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, when you've got 40 CS differences, Nautilus landing his chain, but that's all he can really do. Just can't do quite enough damage to Kite to make it really meaningful. He's just forced to build magic resist and can't really get too much. We got some pings, however, from Jax. Ahri's ult is still down for a few more seconds, but Jax is just going to opt for the bot lane. He will be caught out by the ward. Camille and Kled trading a little bit up here in the top lane, but Jax is fully committed to this. He's going in, ward hops, but does not land the stun. Has his flash, but didn't feel like he needed to expend it. Kite and Nautilus both ran down.
They actually did get Becky's ultimate and flash out of that surprise. I'm not sure if that was both of those were necessary. Probably just the ultimate with the shorter cooldown, but I think that a lot of Loving Libtards will be happy with that. We'll see if they do return and take advantage of it, though. A lot of times, something like a Janna ultimate being used is not really punished.
Nautilus taking a lot of damage up from the charm. The charm does not connect, actually. Zakam can't make it in time. Wait, no, maybe he can.
The wish!
Cave is really low. And he manages to pick up Sir Cave. Despite Taco going down to Kite, Kite being brought really low, Zakam manages to get the return kill on Sir Cave.
The ultimate from Azure Candy came perfectly in time. It was when Taka was low, so you get the extra heal if they're really below, I believe, 40% health. Bought just enough time, they do get the counter kill.
Zero taking a lot of damage out of this Jhin. The W does land. Janna in a lot of trouble. The Kled ult does connect, and Janna goes down. Teleport going to be canceled by Camille.
Curtain calls up. Is he going to use it?
It looks like he's not going to.
So they do take advantage of Becky's flash being down. Good return gank from them. Some pings around the Ocean Drake, but both junglers are there.
Zakam going in hard on Sir Cave, but he's got to be careful. Azure Candy here to back him up. Sir Cave taking a lot of damage, actually. The smite does come down, but the lead manages to pick up Sir Cave.
That right there is why he picked the Jax. I guarantee he said, I'm not 1v1ing this guy as Jarvan, give me the Jax.
He wants to be able to get over that wall on a moment's notice. And it works out. They're going to take this Ocean Dragon for sure. Janna sticking around, possibly trying to get a ward down, but this is kind of risky. There's nothing that she can really do. And then the next dragon popping up. We'll see after the Ahri's taking a lot of damage from the Nautilus. Kled flashing in. They're looking like they want to dive. The Nautilus ult does come down, but the Ahri ult gets her far enough away that it just can't amount to much.
Not sure if they thought that the Ahri ultimate was down, but Kite was clearly not worried throughout the entirety of that. Doesn't even burn his ultimate until the very end, but Uncle Kled actually flashed for it.
Zakam is here. He flashes and gets a stun, but cannot get the final auto attack. Mistimed his W a little bit. However, Sir Cave taking a lot of damage. Zakam most certainly should die here, and he manages to get the kill for Sir Cave. Sir Cave actually managing to get 2 kills. He's in trouble. Kled should be able to pick this up, but the knockup may buy Sir Cave the time he needs. Deza Josh, however, taking a lot of damage. Faplord looking hungry and manages to pick up the kill. Azure Candy's ult just came in a little bit too late. Faplord still chasing. Looks like he wants to tower dive. Ezreal comes through and it hits! A double kill for Ezreal, and Sir Cave manages to get away. A 4-for-0 trade all over the board. It looks like Sir Cave wants abusive, or maybe just trying to harass him away from the tower. And this should be bot tower for the side of Becky's Babes, along with the top tower.
Such great play from the laners of Becky's Babes all around. Sir Cave getting 2 kills and then escaping in a 1 versus 3. Insane play from him. And then the bot lane as well, able to get kills on the Jhin and the Soraka. This Ezreal now 3-0-1 with a 37 CS advantage. He's feeling great.
He's gotta be feeling great. So we've got Kled, who is kind of an even factor this time around. Still not really getting a ton of kills, but no big CS differences like we saw last time. He's just kind of being, what's the word? A stable factor. It's mostly being Zakam that's showing up. As we saw on Friday, he was being a nuisance. Kled ult comes down, possibly looking for this Ahri. This is a really long Kled ult. The Nautilus ult lands on the Ahri. Just knocks her up though. She's under tower. She's really safe. Zakam and Sir Cave are here. Kite ults into Jax, but Jax taking a lot of damage. The Ezreal ult doesn't quite connect. It looks like they're chasing down abusive Kled, and it's almost down, and he is down. And it looks like they're tower diving. The charm doesn't connect, but Sir Cave taking a lot of damage. Kane ult in order to get away from the tower aggro. Attack does go down in the end. Camille taking a lot of damage from Ignite and tower, but will be fine as they take down that tower and look for an inner tower. As then Josh and Azure Candy are heading towards the mid lane, but they're arriving just a little bit too late. Sir Cave actually going in immediately on Baz and Josh. Silence, but oh man, he's taken really low. Baz and Josh is looking for that kill. The Soraka manages to pick it up with the Aerie. That unfortunate moment when reload is costing you the kill. Deadly Flourish on the Ahri, but she will get away just fine.
I think Bazan Josh wanted to do a little bit more damage. He didn't want to force shot right away, but he was worried about the damage from Sir Cave, so he had to use it. Wasn't quite enough, and then Azure Candy, I think, had to take that kill. They had to make sure that Sir Cave didn't get away. But overall, great plays from Becky's Babes. once again, another great team fight there. They chained everything perfectly. They knew Sir Cave could drop aggro on that mid lane turret with the Kayn ultimate, and then they just chain it that way so that Soongale hook shots out of turret range and comes back in. Nautilus is somebody you hate turret diving, but they played it perfectly right there.
Great coordination between the Camille and the Kayn, most assuredly. The Ahri Charm did not connect, but it did not change the results. Taco does have flash now. It will be harder to dive him in the future. But with the gold difference as it stands, about 6,000 in favor of Becky's Babes. And most of that is from the turrets, honestly, and a little bit of CS differences between the lanes of bot and top, but a lot from the mid lane, 147 to 64. And once
yeah,
again,
Taco looked good early on, but now that CS difference is getting insurmountable. Kite looking fantastic in lane, no surprise there.
And once again, Kled and Camille having a little bit of a skirmish here. Kayn is on the way. Kled's taking a lot of punishment, loses the Scarl, needs to get that up right away, but the knockup will keep him CC'd, and he will fall to the Kayn. And, of course, another thing I want to point out, again, he's doing really well on CS this time. He did well last time. Faplord, ranging around 10 CS per minute. It's not perfect, but it's damn well close. And he's going really aggressive. Soraka dropping very low. Janna actually dropping low to Jhin as well. The Ezreal ult manages to pick up Soraka, but Janna will get away. The flash in from the Ahri managed to pick up the kill on Jhin with the Ezreal. Nautilus here looking for that final hit. The Nautilus ult thrown out. The flash will keep him away from the anchor.
Oh, he makes it out to...
Kled ult is looking for someone. Manages to find the Ahri. Ahri's dropped really low. Kled flashes in on the Ezreal. The Ahri, just one more auto attack will do it and falls to the Nautilus. Kled is now stuck fighting Kayn and Ezreal. He wanted that Ezreal, but it looks like he's just going to pay for it with his life and falls to the Kayn in the end. Kayn looking for that low health Nautilus. He flashes away and manages to anchor to the tower and should be fine now that Soraka's there to keep him nice and healthy. Jax is fighting the Camille, looking like he wants a tower dive, but thinks better of it and just starts to head back towards the jungle. A lot of fighting, a lot of kills for both sides with Soraka and Kled falling, but Kite falling as well. A 2-for-1 total trade, if I believe so. And the Cloud Dragon will go over to Becky's Babes.
Overall, 7.8k gold lead for Becky's Babes. They're just winning every single one of these fights. Is not looking good for the Obama Loving Libtards. Right now, I'm seeing Sir Cave. He went with the Rost evolution. He gets that knockout, that extra lifesteal. Not sure how much thought he put into it, but it is a great choice. That knockup has come in clutch so many times, and Sir Cave just refuses to die in these fights for so long that it just looks like Obama Loving Libtards. They just have no way to win these fights because they can't get rid of the Kayn. The Camille able to hook shot away. So much mobility, disengage and re-engage on the side of Becky's Babes that Obama Loving Libtards have just not been able to navigate these team fights.
Indeed, it's just working out in their favor. Charm does not connect. Could have been a lot of damage out on that Kled. Gotta be happy with that that Cloud Dragon. Gives Kayn just the amount of movement speed he needs to get in there. And of course Camille as well. They've got a lot of champions that would love that mobility. And they're kind of just sitting around in the west side jungle, perhaps looking for a pick here. And Taco maybe getting a little bit too close. Zakam may actually be caught out here.
Does have flash, but Taco does not.
Anchor misses on Kite. Won't find a pick there. And everybody, aside from Ezreal, who is on his way though, is hovering around this area of the jungle. It seems Baron is the one thing that's being pressured here. We're gonna see who goes for it, or if they're even planning on going for it at all. Obama Loving Libtards a little bit spread out here. They gotta be careful. Looks they'll back off. Pings going down on Baron from the side of Becky's Babes. Thinking about doing it, perhaps. Not sure if they will or won't. They've got a control ward. They've already started it. Obama loving
Zandroff is here, though. Jin, a good champion to steal it.
Kled ult goes down. He's taking a lot of damage from the entire team. The charm keeps him CC'd. Nautilus heading in for the backside. Camille jumping in onto the Soraka, but being taken very low. She's completely surrounded. The Soraka finally falls to the Kayn, and Kayn is getting slapped on by the Jackson Kled and falls in the end. Ariel coming down to hit the backline. Flash in from Jackson, getting the double stun, picks up the Janna in the end. Ezreal's trying to kite back, but the Deadly Flourish lands, and the W from the Jax to be able to finish him off. Kled is chasing Ari a little bit. She's full health, and Kled's got no Scarlet. Gotta be careful. And that is a total 3 for 4 in favor of Obama Loving Libtards. Not a perfect fight for them, but definitely what I would think to be a good fight for them, because they want these kills. They want as many kills as they can in order to try to lower the difference between their gold amounts. And I think that that was a good fight for them, especially considering Becky's Babes had started the Baron.
Yeah, I think that's about the best they could hope for. They want to stall this out a little bit later so that Ezreal isn't such a massive threat, so he's not able to tear through tanks. Later in the game, when they get a couple of items, they'll have a bit of an easier time with him. But overall, a really good fight for the Obama Loving Libtards. The Jhin was virtually untouched. Soongale went in onto Azure Candy's Soraka, and they burned everything. Sir Cave flashed in and jumped on her as well. That's kind of a classic thing you see sometimes Soraka hate. Because she's healing everybody, everyone wants to jump on her. But sometimes when you expend enough cooldowns to get to her, you've got nothing left for the rest of the fight, and then you lose. That's about what happened. Overall, Kite played that fight pretty well, trying to pick people off, but Zakam was in the backline stunning people. Taco and Uncle Kled were very disruptive to begin the fight. Just too much CC, too big of a front line for Becky's Babes to deal with, and they played that fight really well from the side of Obama Loving Libtards.
Becky's Babes starting up the Baron now. Obama Loving Libtards don't know what's going on. They have an inkling, and they will try to get a vision. The Kite flashing forward for the Azure Candy, and manages to do a ton of damage, getting knocked up by the Nautilus ult. Janna keeping everybody nice and healthy. The Baron is still smacking away down on everybody. The Janna will fall, and there she goes. Kled is no longer in Scarl, has to flash away, but still dies in the end. The Baron finishes off Nautilus, while in the meantime, Zakam taking a lot of damage from the Kayn and the Ahri, and will get the kill on Zakam. Bazan Josh able to get the kill earlier on the foe he was facing. I believe that was Ezreal. And overall, a 4 for 3 in favor of Becky's Babes.
Yeah, that time Soongale's Camille dove onto the Jhin. However, again, Soraka able to heal up the Jhin, keep him alive as long as possible. Kite initially spending flash and a lot of cooldowns to try to take down the Soraka, but didn't kill Azure Candy. Looks like they will get a tower for this, though.
It does seem like taking Azure Candy low did help them in that fight. She couldn't expend as many heals as and stay healthy as she probably would have liked. But
certainly did. Overall, a better fight, a switcheroo, 3 for 4, but this time in favor of Becky's Babes. Certainly they're happier with that. They really do want that Baron, though, and they have not been able to get it.
Yeah, starting it twice really aggressively. Good on Obama Loving Libtards to prevent them from getting that, because Baron could be a huge factor. And it looks like King's going out on the dragon immediately, an Ocean Dragon. Not really a huge dragon for either team, but looks like Becky's Babes just want more dragons under their belt, more stats. Ooh, Sir Cave may be caught out here, taking a little bit of poke damage from Jhin. All 5 members of Obama Loving Libtards are near the dragon pit. Becky's Babes are completely scattered around here. Camille going in on Kled. The charm does not connect on anybody. On the other side, Jax is jumping in on the Janna. Janna keeping nice and healthy. The final Ahri charm all is used. Zakam dropped very low and is able to be deleted. Azure Candy as well. This is 5 against 3 now. Nautilus being melted immediately. Camille jumping down on the backline. Jhin taking a lot of damage, and Camille taking a lot of damage in return, but Kled is the one who falls. Camille and Jhin both get away, but this is a 4 for nothing this time around. Zakam just could not get his way into the backline efficiently. I don't believe so. And this could be a tower, possibly even an inhibitor for Becky's Babes, should they keep pushing. These are pretty long death timers.
They are indeed. Bazan Josh, not a lot he can do. Does throw down the captive audience, but that's not going to do a whole lot. They should get the inhibitor, no problem. Overall, these team fights, man, Becky's Babes team is just so slippery. They're able to dodge in and out, play a little bit spread out, and these big frontliners that want a big engage, they want Nautilus Ultimate that just connects on everybody. They want a big curtain call. They want the Jax Counter-Strike. They want to stun everybody. They're not able to get more than like one person, and they're just getting chased down. Soongale on the Camille has been relentless here, sometimes losing his life, but he's always in the face of Azure Candy and Bazan Josh, able to get to that backline. So is Sir Cave, and they just don't have an answer for it in these last couple fights.
True enough. It is a problem. Obama Loving Libtards are just going to have to try to find some kind of solution here. Because if they can't land enough of their CC, it's just going to be constant Becky's Babes walking all over them. The Ocean Dragon does go over to Becky's Babes, and it should be an Elder Dragon that's popping up next. So we shouldn't see anything more than the 2 Oceans and 1 Cloud that have been thrown down.
Not a lot of exciting Drakes, but will be a little bit of extra Elder power for the side of Becky's Babes, having the 2 Drakes to the 1 of Obama Loving Libtards.
There's definitely still looking for that that extra burn that the Elder Dragon goes for. So may see that now become a more contested objective. Baron wards from both sides being placed down here. Becky's Babes starting it once again, but this is warded out. Obama Loving Libtards know that this is being done. Jax is nearby. Can he get the steal? It's being dropped down. 4,000. 3,000. Jax is here, but everyone turning on to Jax. He has no chance of burning down the Baron, and Baron will go over to Becky's Babes. Finally, after the 3rd attempt, managed to get it.
I think that Zakam probably had to try to steal that, but man, this easy call from Becky's Babes. They saw that both Bazan, Josh, and Taka were bot lane, or sorry, Bazan, Josh, and Uncle Kled, and they knew they could rush it down. And I'm not sure if they had vision on Taka when there's Azure Candy, but they weren't close either. Zakam was the only one, so they start off the Baron knowing there's really no chance for a team fight to peel him off. Zakam goes in for a steal, but everyone just turns off onto him easily, and they kill him. Pick up an easy Baron for Becky's Babes.
It's really hard to steal the Baron as the blue side, because if you're not behind the pit, you have no surprise. You can't just immediately get in there once the Baron hits 1,000 health. People could just easily turn on you, and like they have plenty of time to do so because you're walking from the river to there. But both inhibitor towers are going down. Both inhibitors are bare open and taking a lot of punishment from both sides. And that is triple inhibitor down. A Baron empowered minions. This is rough. Obama Loving Libtards have got to do something here. The Kled ult comes down. They're doing something. They're heading in for Sir Cave. But Kled is being bursted down immediately. No one can find their way inside to the back line. They just kind of have to keep backing off here. A lot of pain being thrown down. Jax finally manages to stun Ari, but it's just not enough. Managed to pick up the Jax. Taco, it's almost a matter of time. Everybody falling. Beza and Josh, the only one alive from the Obama Loving Libtards. They dive in, get the kill, and that is a clean... Oh wait, no, Nautilus is still alive. I didn't even see that. But it's still a 4-0. Congratulations to Becky's Babes. They managed to pull it to a second series. This next best of 3 will decide who wins the grand finals between Becky's Babes and Obama Loving Libtards.
Man, those last few team fights, Becky's Babes just played those perfectly. They played right to their comp strengths, hanging around, dodging abilities, using that mobility, and then diving in with an Aria charm, with the CC, with the hook shot. Sir Cave able to get that knock up with the Rast 4, able to just chain that perfectly. We saw a lot of good tower dives from them too, kind of dropping aggro perfectly. and really just a very coordinated game from them. They played this team fight so well, and just not a lot that Obama Loving Libtards could do. They wanted a big upfront team fight, front to back, straight up. Kled, Nautilus, Jax go in. They never got it. They ended up going in one by one in that last fight. You could see some miscommunication. Most likely, it was just very hard for them to get the fight they wanted because Becky's babes were saying, no, we don't want a straight up team fight. We want to pick you off one at a time and dance around the edge of the fight. It's exactly what they did, and it got them the win.
Definitely a really rough game for the Obama Loving Libtards. Who would you say is your series MVP here?
Oh, it's really tough to say.
As well as game MVP, of course.
Oof. Man, the entirety of them played really well. Is a tough one. I think I probably have to give it to... Ooh. That's really tough. I think I'm going to give it to the Ezreal, actually. He got those 2 solo kills, well, with the help of Becky as well, but they got the 2v2 kills in the bot lane. I thought they just did really well because that was a lane that both junglers weren't there very often for. They just straight up won it, and then the Ezreal became just a menace in those team fights. He also survived a lot of really close calls, able to flash away from that Nautilus hook around the bot lane inner tower, and then using the Arcane Shift so effectively. I think that them as a duo, both Lord and Becky, were able to just kind of disengage really well from those fights and play them so well and get a massive advantage in bot lane just on their own without really any jungle pressure. So I would say, yeah, the Ezreal would be my MVP.
What about your series MVP?
Oh, series MVP is a tougher one, but I think I might have to give it to... I think Kite. I think that he's a fitting series MVP because, like, I think that his presence in lane extended into the draft. He's like drawing 3 to 4 bans per game, still winning lane really hard. Even this game in particular showed some resilience, dying on that level 2, getting pulled into tower range by Taco's Nautilus, getting ignited, but then coming back, getting a big CS lead, getting a bunch more kills regardless, showing a lot of mental fortitude, I think, in that way. And overall, just, I mean, this guy, he's drawing bans. He's also still winning lane regardless, showing a really deep champion pool. I think he's a pretty fitting series MVP, in my opinion, because he's having such a big impact on the game the entire time. He's always a big presence in those fights as well.
Drawing 3 bans during the first game, or 4 bans with the first game with the Aurelia, Vlad, Echo, and Fizz. And the second time around, drawing once again the Echo and Aurelia. I'm going to say I'm going to throw the MVP over to Sir Cave. I think the combination of Sir Cave and Camille, along with a little bit of Kite, was most certainly the reason why that game had spiraled out of control. I think the communication between those two, it's hard for me to say it's specifically Sir Cave. It's kind of both of them together. I would give it to Sungail as well if I could, but I'm going to have to give it to Sir Cave because I think as the jungler, he was a lot more, I mean, not a lot more, a little bit more impactful overall around the map than Camille was, but most certainly a worthy candidate in almost every one of them. And I will agree with you on the series MVP here. I got to throw it over to Kite because, as you said, he's drawing a lot of bans throughout the series. It's just constantly absorbing a lot of pressure, picking Ahri into both matchups, punishing the Morgana, getting a pretty sizable CS lead, punishing the Nautilus, and of course we expected the CS lead, but really plenty of great flash charms, many great tower dives. Overall, a really solid play, a really solid player.
Absolutely. Certainly credit to the entirety of Becky's Babes, all 5 members showing off at one point or another throughout the game. And really those team fights, they just played very immaculately and in a cohesive way. I thought it can be very difficult to chain that CC properly, to tower dive properly and dodge or drop aggro, and especially in these settings as well, because that can be something you have to practice a lot. You have to all be on the same page in communications, and they were still able to do it. So that was really impressive. congratulations to them on the series win. But I am excited because that just means that we go to our next best of 3, which means it's anybody's game now.
Exactly. So, for anybody who may be a little bit lost, just take a look over on your stream. Don't know why you would be looking anywhere else. I mean, the stream's the only thing that matters. But we've got the second best of 3 with Becky's Babes and Obama Loving Libtards. Now that Obama Loving Libtards have finally lost their first match, specifically, having made it through a winner's bracket, they get that one little buffer of the best of 3. So, this is a new best out of 3. Whoever wins 2 games out of these next possible 3 will take home the Grand Finals Party Brawl 6 trophy that will be mailed to them, probably. And then the loser will have to be sent home to California specifically. A lot on the line here for both of these teams. You got to think mentality-wise, this may finally get to Obama Loving Libtards, because now they've kind of lost their buffer. They no longer have, okay, we can lose a game, or, oh, it's fine, we can lose 2 games and still be able to pull through on this. They've now got to win both 2 games. They can only drop one more time. And if they do drop one more time, that's got to be really scary, because then you've got no more room for mistakes.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, it's not even just the fact that this best of 3 now means, like, now counts, so to speak, that they could actually, like, the winner of this one will win the entire Grand Finals and the tournament. But it's also the fact that they've just lost 2 games in a row. They've got to find a way to reset mentally and say, okay, whatever we learned from the last games, let's take that into account, but let's not tilt. Let's make sure that we view this as a fresh best of 3 and that we're still confident that we can pull out the win. They can't just get super tilted and think, oh man, we lost 2 games, no chance. They've got to be able to reset.
We'll see if they can, or we'll see if the tilt is there. We are in the lobby, and we are just waiting on the ready checks. So we'll get you guys into the champion select the moment we can. Just trying to clarify, this is a brand new best 2 out of 3. So the next 3 games will be the last ones we see. Becky's Babes looking to get their final 2 wins, hoping not to drop a game, and so far looking pretty solid after some spectacular team fight plays throughout the second time around. And the first time around, just overall, really well executed by their mid laner and by their jungler, I believe. I think they were 2 huge factors in the first game. But regardless, once again, we are getting some ready checks out, so should be in here soon. So, Vest, what do you think the bans should be for Obama Loving Libtards? They've already lost 2 games to pretty similar champions. The Ari and the Kayn were pulled out both times, along with the Janna for games 1 and 2. Do you think that those should be banned out now?
It's really tough to say. I think the last game complicated things because Lily Fabloid and Becky were able to just like win that lane super hard without any jungle pressure, and I think that really complicates pick ban phase, because at that point you want to start throwing some bans towards the bot lane to try to get a better lane for Bazam, Josh, and Azure Candy. I think they've got to just like pick to either play around top jungle or play around the bot lane with their pick and banning phase. Right now the Janna ban coming through looks like some adaptations, but I think if they try to stretch the map too much and say we need to ban top, we need to ban jungle, we need to ban ADC, we need to ban support, it's too much. It's not going to really do anything overall. There is the Kayn ban though.
The Echo has been left up. Will Kite pick this up? This is his favorite champion to pick. And it's, in my opinion, a really bad thing to do. If Kite's able to get that Echo, it's as if allowing someone who's already really strong to pick their main, and it is locked in. Echo, the first pick. Do not want any chance of Imp Taco taking that away from him after being left open in the ban phase.
You're going to call me crazy, but I actually like it. I think you have to just let Kite have whatever he wants. I know Echo is his strongest champion, but I think the guy is too good on every single champion. I think that this is actually not a bad idea, because they have to try something. What they've been trying previously, banning Kite out, they're still losing. It's not working. So I think that trying to get... Okay, they take the Janna ban. They're trying to get a little bit better matchup there in the bot lane. They take the Kayn away from Sir Cave. We'll see if he locks in the Warwick. But they are doing some jungle and support priority. Actually takes the Jax away. Interesting choice as well. Perhaps liked what you saw from Zakam in the previous game, or wants to take that pick away from Zakam.
And soon Gale once again picking up the Camille says, I actually kind of liked playing that. Thank you for letting me do it. So we won't see any Riven or Yasuo shenanigans up in the top lane. Jace being hovered by Imp Taco. Perhaps this is his strategy going into the Echo.
Oh, now I did say, and I know controversial, that you can't try to ban out the Kite champion pool, but picking Jace, knowing the Ornn is, I'm assuming, in the top lane from Uncle Kled, Jace is such, I don't know, this is like a statement pick from Taco. If he thinks that he can win lane against the Echo with the Jace, and because Jace is that champion who he can play kind of safe. I'm not sure what exactly he's looking for, but holy cow! I mean, I think it's not a pick that you pick to play super defensively right now. It's a very interesting one from Taco, especially into the infamous Echo from Kite.
I guess his strategy must be to kill Echo. Who cares to play safe when they're dead? We've got the Kaisa and Caitlyn bans taken away from Faplord, and then the Jarvan taken away from Zakam, and along with the Nami taken away from Azure Candy. So we won't be seeing any of those champions available. Curious to see what Imp Taco's planning here, but can't say too much until we see what happens in game. I think this is not boding too well, but I would love to be surprised here. So we've got the Gnar lock-in. This is interesting. Is this an Ornn support?
I actually, you know what I think this is? I believe this is a Gnar jungle. I saw some mention of that. I think this Zakam is bringing out Gnar jungle, but we'll have to stay tuned and see what this is.
They're definitely pulling out some odd stuff that you would not expect out of a classic normal game, which is something that you sometimes need to do in order to win against an opponent like this who constantly manages to pull out all these bans and still do amazingly well. And that is a Soraka lock-in for Becky. And that is exactly right, Twitch chat. It is noteworthy that because he plays a lot of Echo, he will know a lot of matchups into Echo, and he will know a lot of similar champions into his styles. And I believe Kite does have some knowledge on Echo versus Jace. We'll see what Imp Taco can do, though. And so Sona locked in for Azure Candy. This is quite the interesting bot lane. Kind of old classic supports from back in Season 2 being picked here.
Yeah, I like what they did in the draft here from the Loving Libtards. I know that Kite got the Echo, but they focused a lot of their bans on the bot lane, and they also got Sir Cave off of the Kayn. I think this is a good thing to try. It's definitely worth a shot. They had a lot of sample size to study, a lot of evidence to gather in the previous series, and I think that they got the information that if they can get Bazan, Josh, and Berserk Candy a winning lane, that could be good. Zakam also has typically looked good. Like I said, it is going to be the Gnar jungle, so we'll have to see how this looks. But I like the adaptation in the draft here. The only problem, perhaps, is magic damage. Azure Candy will probably have to build full AP, or they're going to be really lacking. And Camille and Jax will probably be able to stack up something like a Thornmail and feel great. Ornn does do some magic damage, but it might become a little bit negligible later on in the game. But overall, like I said, I'm happy with the draft from Loving Libtards. some adaptations from them, because Bazan and Josh actually looked pretty good in the previous games. Usually the Jin was the one surviving the fights. They were able to protect him. I think if they can just empower him with a stronger pick, give him a better, smoother laning phase, that could be something they can play around.
We're just gonna have to see how the game plays out, but Vest definitely liking the matchup, and it's definitely interesting. I like the new stuff being pulled out. It's just what you need when you're facing off against these people, I guess. I mean, those people. But anyways, how do you feel the bot lane is actually going to go? Now that they focused a lot of bans around it, do you think they can win this? Do you think Ezreal and Sona combined will be able to beat the sustain that Soraka gave Jhin last time?
Yes, I think so, because Sona has power even early on. Prior to level 6, Sona, she can take Q first and already be doing crazy amounts of damage. I've played this matchup a lot. Really, really, really annoying for the Soraka and the Jhin as well. I think they're going to have a really rough time. They're going to have to maybe get help from Sir Cave, or else I do believe they're going to be at a CS deficit. It's not a good lane for them, but I mean, they're going to have to try to CS effectively, you know, play around Sona's and Ezreal's ability to just walk up and poke them. We'll see how it goes, but right now I definitely give the advantage over to Bazan, Josh, and Azure Candy. I think this draft effectively gave them the winning bot lane, something they'll probably want, and we'll see if they can play around that.
All right, so definitely got the thumbs up from Vest. How do you feel about the Ornn versus the Camille? I know Ornn's got a lot of sustain in terms of his frequently usable shield, and he can easily build his items up there in the top lane so he can stay for quite a while. Do you think that'll be enough to overcome the pressure that Camille may assert?
I think it might, but it definitely is going to depend on Uncle Kled. He's going to have to play, like, because he's probably going to get tower dove. I'm thinking he's going to have to play those really well. Ornn's, if they play getting dove, getting ganked properly, if they have good vision and good help from their jungler, they can be fine. It is a champion, I think, that can absorb pressure there in the top lane. But if Sungale and Sir Cave can chain their CC really carefully, especially post 6, once they have that Hextech ultimatum available, it could be really tough for Uncle Kled to survive those. But Ornn is often, I mean, it's difficult to say certain champions are 1v2 champions, but I often feel like Ornn is one of those. There's the opportunity for Uncle Kled to survive ganks, to survive tower dives if he plays it well. I think it's definitely, the onus is on Uncle Kled to just save his cooldowns for the right moment, to be able to save his flash for the right moment, and to be able to dodge out of some of those stuns, some of that CC from the top jungle duo of Becky's Babes. If he's able to do that, should be okay. Interesting, though, he is going with the Conqueror, something we saw in Ornn previously, but I don't know. I don't know that Ornn is like a natural pick for Conqueror. It's kind of interesting because Conqueror plays off of your damage as well. It's sort of, I mean, you have to build some kind of damage items on Ornn, I suppose. Definitely seems like an interesting pick. I'm not too familiar with the Ornn, with the Conqueror, but certainly a interesting keystone for him to pick up.
And then, of course, we got the Echo versus the Jace. Both of them are kind of, they take a couple levels in order to truly come online. But if they get ahead, they will be assassinating people left and right. Of course, the edge, I think, has got to go to Echo, not just because it's Kite, I'm not biased here, but I think Echo has got a lot more easily accessible harass here. It's not easy for a Jace to find his ins, and not to mention Jace playing in only really works when Jace is the one initiating, and Echo never goes in unless he's the one initiating. So I think I want to hand this edge over to Echo, not just because it's Kite, but I think the champion matchup in my head, I believe Echo will come out on top. But we'll just have to find out as we are on the Rift. We've got Becky's Babes, after winning the first series, looking to close this out with a 4-0 record on the blue side. Becky's Babes. And on the red side, we've got Obama Loving Libtards looking to make their comeback They need to win these next 2 games after losing their first round buffer. They've got to make a comeback, and this is the comp that they're bringing out. The Jace mid, the Gnar jungle, the weird picks. So we'll see who can come out on top. Don't really see any sneaky jungle invades. How dare these teams constantly play a standard opening. But we
Certainly
do
should be fun to see.
We do see a little bit more of a defensive build for Ornn with the Dorn shield, and aggressive for Camille with the Dorn's blade. May tell the story of Camille wanting to get in and harass Ornn a lot. I don't know if that'll work out too well, though. I think Ornn has got plenty of defensive stats and just enough sustain in order to survive it. But we got the red and blue starts for Sir Cave and Zakam alike.
I like to press the attack from Sir Cave. If you take Conqueror on Jax in the jungle, it's really hard to get that Keystone stacked up and then proc it. Press the attack, usually preferred on Jax jungle. Smart pickup there.
I always like press the attack regardless. It's just such a surprising Keystone to see every time. You think Jax is going to land his W. Oh, how adorable. Wait, where's half of my health? I needed that, Jax. And Jax is just taunting you, saying, imagine if I had a real weapon.
Well, we'll see if he comes up top lane with that lack of a real weapon. Not sure where the ganks will come first. Certainly, Jace able to just kind of disengage somewhat, but playing around Kite when he has the Echo definitely seems like a good idea. I think it's sort of a question of, do Becky's babes want to say, let's purposely try to snowball Kite, or do you just leave Kite in an island and say he's going to get solo kills without help? I think that's kind of the question.
Gnar and Jax running into each other. A ping coming down from Sir Cave. But nothing happening. Just kind of backing off. Sir Cave is full health and mana here. Kite comes over just to scare Gnar off, and he finally runs away. Just a little hello between the two. Nothing really too serious going on. Some nice poke damage from Kite. But then Abusive is fighting Tsungale. Just a little bit of a trade. Kind of even for both sides. We'll see if that changes later on throughout the matchup. Like I think it will. So with just one health pot, it looks like Ornn is almost completely sustained back up. And man, with the Soraka, it's going to be a challenge for the bot lane here. It's not exactly easy to harass Sona without getting return damage as it is a Janna. Janna, you could just easily try to dodge the tornado. The shield may not be used on the Janna too frequently, but the W is kind of all you have to worry about. Sona, however, her primary method of harass, it just hurts a lot more than Janna. And that's that in that queue.
Yeah, I definitely expected Bazan, Josh, and Azurkana to be on top in this lane. I think probably haven't been able to see the entirety of the laning phase so far, but credit to Becky, I think, on these star calls. Looks like she's landing a lot of them, and that will help a ton because it gives so much free healing and sustain to her and to the Jhin. So I think really it sort of comes down to the Soraka's skill as a player, ability to play around the Sona matchup, because I think straight up, Sona, even after the nerfs, should be able to dish out a lot of poke damage, but right now, it really looks like Becky's Babe's bot lane is having a better time of it.
So a Cloud Dragon is the first one on the board. Do you think this matters at all? Do you think this is a priority, or do you think it's another dragon that people are going to say, we'll get it if it's convenient?
I think Becky's Babes would probably place a little bit more priority on it, but it's tough for any team to say, oh, Cloud Drake, we need that right now. Let's go, guys. Like, nobody's going to do that. But I think they'd like to have it a little bit more because they have the Echo, they have the Jax, they have the Camille. I feel like they kind of want to chase people down. I expect there to be some fights where people are low and Kite is chasing them, diving them over tower. Having a little bit of extra movement speed will probably help. And with Camille and Jax, might have a split pusher. Being able to get out of combat and having the out of combat movement speed as well to kind of run away from something. Probably they would not mind having the Cloud Drake. The only thing I can think of for the side of Obama Living Libtards is if the Nard jungle becomes a split pusher, maybe he as well would like to have that ability to maneuver around a little bit faster. But overall, I think probably something that Becky's Babes would place more priority on. But again, I don't think either team is going to be throwing away resources to try to pick up a Cloud Drake.
Gonna have to see what happens. Probably gonna be one of those instances where no real focus on it until it's just convenient, but they may change their minds, or they may surprise us all. However, some nice poke damage coming out from the Echo. Half health and Jace can't do a single thing in response. That is just so painful. If that stun lands from Echo, it could easily mean that kill. He's not bringing an Ignite, which will give him the extra damage, but it will allow him to be able to roam around a lot more, be able to get in lane faster without losing any CS. So a little bit of harass coming out of the Becky's Babes bot lane. Not terrifying enough that forces them out of lane or forces them to drop all CS, but definitely a CS difference here. Got about 20 CS difference between the Jhin and the Ezreal. So
I definitely did not expect this. Credit to that bot lane of Becky's Babes once again on playing this matchup well. Sona and Ezreal is a lot of poke damage, and they're doing just fine, more than just fine. They have a big advantage. Well played to them.
We'll see if they can't keep this up, or if Beza and Josh and Azure Candy can pick it up after they've taken their first back. Could change everything. No aggression out of the junglers quite yet. We're at almost 8 minutes without a single kill. I don't know if we're watching the right tournament. I'll contact the organizers, see if we got the wrong tournament code or not. But we'll see if we can't try to get you updated on that. It seems odd. It's just not a lot happening. We do see some CS differences with 20 CS between Jhin and Ezreal. We've got about 30 between Echo and Jace. But aside from that, it's just no real difference between these teams. But that does give them enough to get 1,000 gold lead already. So if left to keep going out of control like this, it could spiral into a lead that is built out of nowhere and could easily catch Obama Loving Libtards off guard.
Yeah, I mean, Bazan does have the Kleptomancy, so that's helping him.
Gnar is facing a lot of trouble from the Echo. The Gnar ult does come down, keeps Echo away. Jace is coming in for the support. Echo dropping very low, but forced to burn the ult. Jace is stunned, and the Echo manages to get the kill. Wait, actually, Camille does. Gnar has to flash away, and that will be first blood. Finally, some hints of aggression coming out from these teams. And a great roam from Camille. And unfortunately for the Obama Loving Libtards, Ornn was just not able to get in there.
Taco actually still had his flash the entirety of that fight. Zakam did use his.
Most curious. Was stunned for a while, so oh man, Zakam is taking a lot of damage. The flash in from Kite. Unexpected tower dive. I had no idea that would happen. I don't think Zakam knew that would happen either. But that's
clearly Kite knowing exactly what it can do on this Echo.
Indeed, this is going to be problematic, and a kill and assist for Echo on his second back. So should see a little bit more aggression coming out of him as he's getting more items, being more confident. But Sir Cave is here. The double stun onto the Camille and Jax has happened. And Abusive is taking a lot of damage. Soon Gale forced to back off through the threat of the tower. Decide they do not want to have anything to do with that. And Abusive Uncle Cled will just have to back off.
You can see there that 1v2 potential of the Ornn does have that knock-up, has the ability to dash with it as well, and he has the call of the Forge God.
To Jace. Only half health though. May see that take him down very soon. And then Soongale taking a lot of damage from Abusive Kled. He's really low, but he looks like he really wants to keep fighting this. The Ornn ult comes out, and the knockup hits, and the final clash manages to pick up the kill for the Ornn. Camille goes down. And what were you saying earlier?
I was just saying, the 1v2 potential of that Ornn and the 1v1 potential as well uses that call, the Forge God. You cannot underestimate the damage of the Ornn, able to actually pick up the kill. Great job by Uncle Kled there.
Indeed. Good 1v1. Not sure what happened for the circumstances for Camille getting so low, but good job on Ornn to get him that low. The Jhin curtain call comes out. Ezreal and Sona are both low. The final ult strike will not hit. The flash from Sona will keep her safe. And Kite looks like he wants a tower dive. The stun does not land, but he gets a huge shield, and he will back off. Zercave is here. Zakam getting rooted by the Jhin. Don't have enough damage or follow-up, though. All the cooldowns have been burned. So, should just back off between both sides here. No kills coming out, but still plenty of aggression. And exactly what I had expected after Echo had gotten a kill and an assist. He had pumped up his aggression so much. The CS difference is now readily apparent with a whopping 60-ish CS difference. That's crazy. And, of course, perfect CS levels between both Kite and Fat Lord, but a duel between Camille and Ornn up in the top lane. Soongale taking a little bit worse for wear. But it looks like that's just about it. So once again, near perfect CS for the 10 CS per minute goal for Kite and Faplord. Faplord truly is an unspoken part of a few of these games for a lot of when we're talking about these players, because he's getting perfect CS in every matchup.
Hey, he was my MVP for the previous game for a reason. The guy is actually very, very good. And we're seeing right now, I thought this would be a losing matchup for them. They're just doing great.
But
this is even worse.
The head ult does manage to land. Echo is going in. The Ornn taking a lot of damage from the Camille. It looks like the Ornn ult will land and knocks Camille up. And Camille will fall. Kite, however, using the ult to try to catch out Zakam, will not find it and will fall. A great play from everybody. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Sir Cave managing to pick up that Ocean Dragon, or sorry, that Cloud Dragon. The curtain call coming out, manages to land 2 hits on Bazan Josh, but will not kill him. Overall, a great outcome from the side of Obama Loving Libtards. That's exactly what they need, a 2 for nothing.
That's exactly what they needed indeed. It was a great collapse there from Taco and Zakam to come up there and help Uncle Kled, who's looking fantastic on the Ornn right now. Kled was left up, he didn't take it, he went with the Ornn.
Here. Zakam is chasing him down. He has to flash away and cues over to the Soraka, but these are 4 people. Can he get out? He's taking a long path. Zakam can't quite find the boomerang on Becky and manages to get away. So, good job on Sir Cave. A fight here between Soongale and abusive Uncle Kled. May not turn into much, but Soongale's taking a lot of damage. No Ornn ult, so I don't think we'll see any tower dives. But we're starting to see almost a clear winner up here in the top lane. And it is a 3,000 gold difference, but Obama Loving Libtards are looking a little bit stronger this game right now than they were in the last one.
Yeah, they've had some decent fights, but I think not good news for them that they devoted a number of bans to the bot lane, hoping to get a good matchup there, and they're losing bot lane. 38 CS down right now is Bazan Josh. Not what they wanted. This was supposed to be what they would play around. They are playing around top lane pretty well. Kled able to just lock in the Ornn first
hit. On the Sona getting very low. One more auto won't do it. So the heal comes through. The Jhin curtain call is being thrown down, but it's just not enough. Sona's able to get out of range, and Azure Candy lives in the end. A really aggressive play from Kite, but just unable to find anybody. Taco maybe looking for Becky there. Can't quite find the shockwave. Goes in onto Faplord, but taking a lot of damage from Faplord and Kite together. and will go down. Overall,
Ah.
a crazy fight, but Becky's Babes managed to get on top.
Man, that was just such an aggressive play from Taco. Kite, they were able to prevent him from getting the kill onto Azura Candy. Overall, I think they felt pretty good at his impact on the game. Kill-wise, he has a massive CS lead, though, a massive gold lead. They can't be underestimating Kite. Going in like that on Kite and the Jhin there, not a good idea. And really, that's not the type of mistake they can afford to make. Kite is on his Echo. They have to be careful playing around that. He has the Dark Steel. He's feeling confident.
It can't indeed. This is a really fed Echo, even though sometimes kills just don't tell the tale. He's got the most gold here. He's got almost double... Okay, not almost double. I definitely looked at the numbers twice. Cannot do instant math. But he's got 3,000 gold difference between him and Inf Taco. This is a really strong player. However, Sir Cave looking for that abusive Uncle Kled. The Camille ult goes down. Orn taking a lot of damage. The Orn ult will knock him up though. The Kled ult doesn't quite, or the Gnar ult doesn't quite land on the Camille. But Camille taking a lot of damage. The burn was not enough, so the Kled had to flash in. Stop saying Kled. Kite going in deep into the Jace. Doesn't quite get the kill. Ezreal taking a lot of damage. Sona really low, forced to flash away. Becky flashed aggressively too. And the Ezreal ult is not enough. The heal will save Becky. And then Kite runs in for the KS. The teleport stopped from the Ornn. And the teleport coming in for Kite. Can he stop this? Kite jumping in immediately, taken very low, has to ult away, and he is ulted away from the top lane entirely. Tries his best to stop these two, but the top tower will fall. Why do Kled and Gnar have to look almost exactly the same? Look at those people.
Yeah, Kled is definitely about that size.
Yeah. It's so
He's
wild.
also definitely wearing a spacesuit.
But anyways, 5 kills to 5 kills, but still a 3,000 gold difference in favor of Becky's Babes.
Yeah, I really like this proactive play from Loving Libtards. They were able to get that top lane outer turret, and they've been able to actually play around their lanes pretty well, but once again, this bot lane looking pretty bad. I mentioned that I really like the Jhin Soraka combo. You can see how well it's doing right
man,
there.
They're going in on abusive Uncle Kled. Sir Cave doing a lot of damage, and Kite manages to pick up the kill. A great pickoff. They had no idea. Perhaps a little bit too aggressive when they saw Jack stop before the bush. Kind of means that he may be baiting, but maybe just didn't see that in time, or maybe couldn't see that he just didn't expect Kite to be there. Unfortunate for him. Kite, however, going right back in, ults away to safety, almost killing the Sona. But that is an ult down for Kite. Let's see if they can do anything off this, if they want to. The next
Zerkina does have the Sapphire Crystal, so I assume she's going to build towards AP, maybe a Luden's Echo or something like that. We'll have to see, or Lichbane even.
Who knows? It is something I like to see, a Lichbane on the Sona. It's just so unexpected.
They need the AP. They have the Jace there in the mid lane. If they want to mitigate the problem of Becky's Babes just stacking up armor, then Candy probably will have to build the AP. But overall, I was talking about this Soraka Jhin combo. Soraka able to just proc that Jhin with being able to proc that root so frequently, because if you can just throw out the silence, you can throw out the Star Call. Really, really easy for her to set up Jhin on those roots, and also able to heal him a lot. And Jhin kind of likes to hang back at range a little bit, just fire those shots away and then back away while he's reloading so you can heal him up. It's really a great combo that I am a huge fan of, working out really well. Once again, I had thought that the Sona and the Ezreal would have enough poke damage, but right now, this great play from Becky's Babes bot lane has meant that they've been able to just accrue a massive advantage just through their play alone.
Echo looks like he wants to go in. Ornn taking a lot of damage. The Jhin curtain call comes down. This is most certainly a dead Ornn, and it is. Kite manages to pick up the kill. Zakam looked like he wanted to get it in on the back line, but had to back off. And it looks like Becky's Babes are looking for that Mountain Dragon next. They've started it. Zakam is in the area. We could see a possible smite steal, but there's a control ward. He doesn't know what health it is at, and it will go over to Becky's Babes, but the fight has started. Camille's jumping in onto the back line. Jace is walking forward a little bit too much. Echo ult coming in to finish him off. The Gnar is running away. Everyone from Obama Living Libtards is running away. And that will be a 2-death team and a loss of a dragon for the Obama Loving Libtards. Nothing lost for Becky's Babes. Oh man, almost manages to land the boomerang on Soraka. Very close, the silence comes through. Zakam is now in enlarged form, so won't see any boomerang chases anymore. Becky
Chase come down with the Mega Gnar, but unfortunately when you're in Mega Gnar, you don't have those ranged attacks and the ability to perhaps pick off some of those members of Becky's Babes who were so low, they all get away.
Becky's able to get away with just a sliver of health. The outer tower is taking a lot of damage. Curtain call to try to clear a little bit of these minions here. Possibly look for Sona. Doesn't find a single mark on her. Zarkate just trying to do a little bit of damage to Zakam. Not really trying to engage. But Kite is up top lane. He's about to have teleport, so it should be fine soon, but they've got to be careful. Kite is a decent amount of their gold advantage. With a 7,000 gold advantage now built up for Becky's Babes, this is almost turned into a completely different game.
Yeah, I mean, surprisingly, Zakam's Gnar jungle looking pretty good. Uncle Clay looked great in the early game, but they've really devoted a lot of resources on the side of Becky's Babes to shredding him down. And now Kite 5-1-2, 9 stacks on the Darksteel. Massive CS advantage has been able to roam around. And overall, Becky's Babes, once again, shining in team fights, just like they did in the previous game. Actually, the Jhin has been super useful in those fights as well. As soon as he walks in and starts fighting away those crits, it's just an absolute disaster for the side of the Obama Living Libtards. They have not been able to play these fights effectively, and they're getting caught more often than not.
Clearing a little bit of words around Baron, possibly what Becky's Babes are looking for next. Some things are going down, so they know it's a possibility. Becky's Babes were focusing heavily on Baron last game. 3 attempts, only getting it on the 3rd time around. Now that they've got what I believe to be a bigger deficit between them, maybe looking for it again here. Kite going in onto Azure Candy, unable to find that last hit. Azure Candy flashing away, Echo ulting away. But I think Kite will definitely be a lot happier with that trade. Just a little bit of a skirmish between these teams here. Kled looking like he wants to get a little bit of harass. Maybe stepping a bit too far, taking a lot of damage. He's dropped over half health. Ornn ult does come down. Jack's stun prevents him from being able to use it effectively. The curtain call comes down to push them away. Kite has started to push bottom again. They've got to be careful. This is a 4v5. But Taco is looking like he wants to go stop Kite. If he isn't stopped soon, or if they don't win a team fight soon in the mid lane, then that will be an inhibitor tower. The inner tower's already dropped, and Taco is in the area. We'll see if he can't do something here to stop Kite.
Yeah, that Echo split push is completely online right now. Kite 5-1-2, absolutely unstoppable on the Echo. Nobody can really answer him. They might need 2, 3, 4 people just to take him down at this point. And he plays the champion well enough, he can probably just escape if it is a fight he doesn't want.
Indeed. They've got to have something to stop him. Either they've got to win a fight in mid with a 5v4 and try to get gold that way, or they've got to be able to send someone who can effectively clear the wave. And there's just no one that really can do that safely without Echo being able to jump in on them. Azriel can poke from a safe distance, same with Jace, but if they're not too careful, which it's not exactly the longest range skill shots here, then Echo will be able to just dive in on them. Of course, he got the shot gate with Jay, so it actually is a pretty decent skill shot in terms of range, but that's a long cooldown to be put on.
Yeah, right now, I don't know if Taco was watching Khan and the LCK finals.
Caught out here. He's stunned, and the Zach will fall to Kite. The Jin curtain call is coming down to slow everybody down. Abusive Kled does go down. Kite looking for more. He wants Taco, and he will get the triple kill. He may be looking for the Quadra, possibly even the Penta. Vezan just taking a lot of damage. The Soraka ult does come down. The Ezreal ult hits the Kite, but he's healing enough, and he will stay alive thanks to Soraka. And that will be a 4-0 in favor of Becky's Babes. This is a lot of gold difference. We're finally hitting the 12,000 gold mark.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about needing 15k to secure, but I think that fight was really the best chance that the Obama Loving Libtards had at winning this game. They can't be giving up any more kills. Now he's 8-1-3. I'd say at this point, it's all but impossible for them to come back. I had my eyes on Zakam on the Gnar. He's looked pretty good. If you can get a really good Mega Gnar and they can chain that with the Orin CC with a Sona ult. But
well,
the problem is what we just saw. The problem is Kite can one-shot anybody and everybody, and they just, I don't know that they have any answer for it right now.
Zakam dropped pretty decently low. The Gnar ult doesn't quite connect. Orin's taking a lot of damage along with Zakam. A flash over the wall will keep him alive for now, but the curtain call is being thrown down. Sir Cave is here, and it looks like he will fall to Sir Cave. And that's another 3 kills for Becky's Babes. 4 if you want to count the Jace. And Baron buff. And we are finally at that 16,000 gold deficit. It's almost impossible to really throw this. You've got to think that Becky's Babes should be able to end here at this point. And man, deleted from Kite.
Taco really not having a good time.
Doing a ton of damage, ton of bursts towards both these Sona and Ezreal. And it looks like that will be the last of the towers. The Nexus is being dropped very low. It looks like they may want an Orin before they end the game, but no, they won't get it. They'll just settle for the Nexus. Game 1 goes over to Becky's Babes. One more win until they win the whole shebang.
What a dominating win on that last fight, using the Hextech Ultimatum's untargetability to dodge out of the Gnar stun, winds up helping Zakam fall in the end to Sir Cave. Overall, these team fights just played so well, and Kite, he gets the Echo, he gets a massive advantage. I thought back in the drafting phase, perhaps focusing on other lanes that could get something, but the problem is they devoted the drafting phase to bot lane and still lost it nonetheless. And to compound things, Kite got the Echo, his favorite champion, and he gets super fed on the Echo. So not only did the draft not work, both aspects of the draft didn't work. Rather, you give their mid laner his best champion and he wins. You give your bot laners a good matchup and they lose, or rather what I felt was a good matchup, but didn't seem to work out for them. Really unfortunate for the side of Obama Living Libtards that they were not able to secure any advantages there. They wind up losing in a spectacular fashion in this game. We'll see if they can try to find some adaptation. They still have the opportunity to come back. They can reverse sweep the series and come back. We'll have to see if they can pull it off, because frankly, I'm somewhat at a loss for words, at a loss for ideas as to how they can do it.
Well, as the natural order dictates, what do you believe, or rather, who do you believe was the game MVP here?
I do really want to give a shout out to Becky's Babes bot lane. I'm tempted to give them MVP because I thought they played it so well. I'm also biased because I love the Jin Soraka combo. I've talked that up a bunch, but I think I have to give it to Kite. I mean, the guy basically single-handedly won the game this time around, and once again, just showing off. I mean, you hate to give it the MVP to the same guy every time, but when the same guy is just dominating the game every time, it's hard not to. So he would be my MVP for this game.
I definitely think Kite was a big reason. I think it was, I think there was definitely a lot of reasons why I believe Soongale did pretty well. I think Faplord and Becky both together did pretty surprisingly well over in the bot lane. I'm gonna throw it over to Kite as well. I think Kite was a huge part of it, and I think he was the main reason on why Becky's Babes were able to pull that through. He was able to draw no bans this time around, but did so amazingly well. And by the mid to late game of that point, was just assassinating people left and right. Cannot count out the Camille, though. I actually would have given the MVP over to Soongale if I did not give it over to Kite. But I think Kite was such a huge problem for Obama Living Libtards this time around, as is usual. And it is kind of... I mean, you do make a fair point. Sometimes it does feel like we're just completely biased or whatever, or we're always giving it over to Kite because he gets it all the time. But I think Faplord and Soongale and Sir Cave get it a decent amount as well. Becky never really getting MVP, but definitely a solid support for the AD carries in the past tournaments. But Kite is typically such it's kind of like a Bjergsen for TSM, right? It is the all-star for that team. It is the main star. Even though the others do show up plenty of times, it's kind of, you're looking for this person to be the big player here, and you're looking for him to make those big plays and to help build his team those advantages. So I will give it over to Kite as well. And I think it's almost to be expected, but I definitely don't think he's the only reason, or even the quote-unquote main reason why Becky's Babes win a lot of these times. I think he's probably the biggest reason among them in a lot of these games, but you've got to give Soongale credit for being a constant problem up in the top lane, able to win some of these tough matchups, and able to be such a strong player, doing tons of damage in his own right. And Faplord for getting near perfect CS throughout all these games. And then Sir Cave being such a good jungler in general and in the past as well. So a lot of good players on this team here. So what do you think Obama Loving Libtards have to do in terms of ban adaptations this time around? Because they focused on the bot lane. Unfortunately for them, they were pressured this entire time by Faplord and Becky. Do you think that this time they should focus around the top lane instead, as you were talking about before?
It's really hard to say. I think that Josh looked good on the Jhin. I think give him the Jhin. I think that's a good idea. Maybe even give him that Jhin Soraka combo. We'll have to see. But I think that I don't know. I'm still tempted to say they should play around the bot lane somewhat, but I really thought that they built their draft around the bot lane in the previous game, and it absolutely didn't work. So it's hard to suggest they do that again. Probably the most reliable thing they could do is, yes, play around the top lane, because Uncle Kled has looked pretty good in the early games at Cam as well. That top jungle combo has looked pretty great for them early on, and I think maybe that's their best hope, is to try to play around that further. If that's not what they want, maybe they can try some other combo with Bazan Josh and Azure Candy. I thought Ezreal Sona would work well. It didn't, but Bazan Josh did look fairly good on the Jhin. Maybe they can even get him something like a Caitlyn. I don't know how comfortable he is on that pick, but give him something that he can win lane, and they could try to play around bot lane as well. I mean, obviously the elephant in the room is always going to be Kite, because what do you do in pick ban phase against him? I mean, the Nautilus looked good about level 2. They got that first kill onto Kite, and they got Kite onto the Ahri. It's really hard to say, because he still looked good on the Ahri. I mean, I suppose you do generally want to ban the Echo, but it's a really, really difficult task for them in pick ban phase, because Kite is going to be a problem no matter what. It's a question of how much of a problem do you want him to be. I don't know. I think you probably want to, kind of like I said in the previous game, pick either top jungle or bot lane and try to draft around that and play around it. I mean, I would say they need to talk to Bazan Josh and Azure Candy and figure out if they have a matchup that they would be confident with. And if they do, and assuming it's not Ezreal Sona, because it didn't seem to work for them last time, if they have a different matchup there in the bot lane that they think can work for them, go with that, secure that early, use pick ban to play around that. If Bazan, Josh, and Zerkany say, I don't know, we don't seem to be able to win lane, play around somebody else, then I think they should stick with the top jungle draft and maybe ban out like they banned out the Kayn, ban out like Warwick or Kayn from Sir Cave, maybe look at targeting Soongale with some bans, I don't know, the Riven, or maybe if they don't like the Camille. But I would say maybe take away Fiora or Riven from them. Look at that top jungle banning phase. I think is the clearest path to victory for Obama Loving Libtards to focus on in pick ban. But I think an alternative, if Bazan, Josh, and Azure Candy are confident, is to try to get some priority there in the bot lane because they have shown some flashes of brilliance in the previous games.
We'll see if that's what they want to do. They've got one more chance here. They've already lost 3 games. They cannot lose any more. They've got to win these next 2 in order to win the grand final. Becky's Babes, however, they've only got 1 more game to go. After coming through the losers bracket, defeating Into the Rabbit Hole, they've lost to Obama Loving Libtards the first time around in the winners bracket, but showing that they were that was not the only possible outcome. Showing that they want to win this and take home the Grand Cup. It's a grand, beautiful trophy. It's really something else. It's unlike any trophy we've ever seen here. But we are in the lobby. People have not given all their ready checks yet, so we're just waiting on that. Hopefully gonna get you into the game as soon as those ready checks are thrown out. But I think a problem with last game, I mean, I know it's just so, I know it's so, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's so repetitive that I keep saying this, but I think Echo is someone you just can't hand over. I don't think you want to try to ban out Kite. I think you gotta just accept that he is going to be a strong mid laner, or get a strong mid laner, but I don't think you ever want to hand over Echo. I think he's just too much of a terror on the champion specifically, that even in a medium matchup, he will dominate, and he will pull stuff like he did last time around. I think once you take away the Echo, I think if you take away the Kayn from Sir Cave, or ban away the Echo and then ban away Soongale's champions, I think you want to either focus on top or bot. But I don't think you need to focus too many bans on bot lane in order to try to build your advantage up there. I think you just need to have your jungler come down a bit more. So I think their priority should be bot lane or top lane. However they want to play this, but 100% believe Echo needs to be banned out. But we'll see what they do. Fiora being the first one banned out. They absolutely do not want to see that anywhere near this rift. Zac banned out from Zakam. He will never receive that champion. I don't think even if they win this game, he'll get it next time around.
From a ban. You know what would be a spicy pick for Taco there in the mid lane? Riven mid. This guy's actually played a pretty good amount of Riven. I would actually not mind seeing that because, and call this a suicidal strategy, but the option remains to get Zakam a pick early and then pick something crazy like a Riven for Taco and just camp mid. Like, generally it's accepted that Kite winning is a foregone conclusion, but at this point, everything is on the line. This is match point. They've got to find something, and I don't know. It's a very, very risky strategy, but I wonder if it's something they're talking about, perhaps actually trying to camp Kite and doing something about that there in the mid lane.
We'll have to see if that's something that's going on in comms. There goes the Kayn. Don't want Sir Cave having that. So, the final ban being Cho'Gath. Just don't want Abusive Kled to get that. And then the Xayah ban, of course, taken away from Bazan, Josh, and Azure Candy. Azure Candy, a well-known Xayah support, will not be getting that anytime soon. And then the Olaf is locked in. That is someone I did not expect to see happen. Do you think we're going to see that in the jungle, or do you think we're going to see that up in the top lane?
It's difficult to say. I'm going to go ahead and say it's in the jungle for Zakam because Olaf has been a really strong pick in the jungle for a bunch of patches, like basically a must-pick ban in pro play. And I have a feeling because this is match point, Zakam is saying, all right, let me carry, guys. I can do this. And I bet that they're picking him the Olaf because he wants to try something new. He's trying to find a pick that he can carry on. I bet it is the Olaf jungle.
We'll have to find out whether they're stream sniping us and going to pick against it just to spite us or not. But we've got the Aurelia locked in. Curious to see if that is for Kite or Soongale. Could be either or. We'll just have to find out later on. But this is a champion that Kite has played before, so it's not too shocking. The Shen has been picked. It does look like we are going to see an Olaf jungle. It's not impossible for Shen to jungle, but more likely it will be the Olaf jungle. But Shen top against an Aurelia. Do you have any quick insight on that?
It's really hard to say because there's a lot of flex picks right now. I have to assume at this point Olaf is in the jungle. Ooh, but there's the Riven locked in for Soongale, I assume, meaning it is going to be Aurelia mid, I bet.
That is
so it's really hard to say. Shen could even be support, but I don't think it's something Azure Candy plays much, so I would expect it to be top for Uncle Kled. A new pick for him is really hard to say, but I kind of like it because perhaps they can, in the second banning phase, play around bot lane and then have that Shen, have that Stand United come through to help out the bot lane even more. But Jhin, this is a great ban from Becky's Babe. Bazan Josh looked pretty solid on the Jhin. Taking that away from him is a smart idea.
And there goes the Janna. Nothing but the bot lane for them to focus on during the second round of bans. Bazan Josh will not be getting that Ezreal. Bard has been locked in for Azure Candy, unless that is an Inf Taco running with the Bard mid. Could be possible. I would love to see that. It would be crazy. It would be unexpected. And probably going to fail horribly against Aurelia, but we'll have to find out as the last ban is about to be picked here, and it is Caitlyn. Faplord will not be receiving that, but looks like he's happy to immediately hover the Draven and then just start showing off his champion pool. And by champion pool, I mean 2 champions.
I think the Caitlyn's a smart ban too.
There we go.
Oh, the Kai'Sa.
I believe we saw Kai'Sa picked earlier on in the tournament, and she was a pretty strong champion, if I recall correctly. Throughout the game that we spectated. I don't believe. Yeah,
Kai'Sa, once she gets even just the rage play, but once she gets a couple more items, absolutely unstoppable. She's like a cog bot tier hyper carry with that added mobility and invisibility on her E. It's gonna be Teemo ADC locked in for Bazan Josh though. Memeing a little bit, I think, are the Obama Loving Libtards, but
I think this is the best strategy I've ever seen. Because
we talked about getting priority there in the bot lane, and what better way than to pick Teemo ADC?
No, I mean, I honestly do mean this, because you've got a heavy auto attacker like Yi, you got a heavy auto attacker like Riven, like Kai'Sa, you've actually got a decent time to say Teemo AD carry isn't the worst thing ever.
You know who they wish they picked in the jungle right now? Rammus. All AD lined up right now from Becky's Babes.
A little bit of a Q dodge, as the young kids would say.
Looks like Azure Candy is gone. Curious about that. Related to the Teemo ADC, not certain. Right, curious about that though.
We do have a client crash. We do apologize heavily for this.
Oh yeah, my ADC locks in Teemo. Client crash. Sorry guys. This is a bug, you know.
Oh, sorry. Looks like my league is permanently broken. Got to reinstall. Here, you guys just go on without me. 4v5. I will brave the depths and click on this random link that has been presented. Choose your loadout.
Definitely curious how this will go for the draft. I know that with that client dodge and all the picks being shown, I imagine that this redo draft exactly the same with all the same picks and bans, but we'll have to see.
All right, well, I know the Champion Select is no longer up and viewable, but I can tell you this. I did take a screenshot of Champion Select, so we do have that to talk about. We should be seeing the same picks and bans here. So I want to ask you, Vest, what do you think we're gonna see here from the Teemo and what I presume to be Bard? I don't think that's gonna be a Bard mid in any support. So what do you think about Teemo and Bard against the Kai'Sa and whatever support Becky's likely to have picked? With Janna being banned, you can only assume it's going to be a Lulu or Soraka.
I actually really like Morgana. I'm not sure how. I believe Becky plays this in mid lane a lot. I wouldn't be surprised to see Becky lock in Morgana. This was a favorite in the Korean playoffs. The Morgana Kai'Sa combination, because you can black shield the Kai'Sa and then she can dive in with that ultimate, and she's absolutely unstoppable. It's a really great combo, but Lulu or Soraka wouldn't be bad choices either. Anybody who's supportive, who can give that Kai'Sa some extra defensive abilities when she goes in, would be really great.
All right.
With the Teemo, I don't really... it's difficult to say. Teemo ADC is not something I see often, so I'm not sure how it's going to go, but you raise a fair point that it is good against all those auto-attacking AD champions.
So I do have it available on stream for you guys to look at. These are the champions and the bans that we are seeing here, and that we should be seeing throughout this. So what I can only again assume to be Olaf jungle versus Yi jungle. This is such an interesting decision here for both sides. What do you think? How do you think that's going to play?
I definitely like Zakam's Olaf early on. We haven't seen Master Yi from Sir Cave, I don't think, at all, so I don't know how comfortable he is on it. Overall, I think early on, Olaf, Zakam should be able to play aggressively, steal some camps away from Sir Cave, and he should have the better of the matchup early on. However, later in the game, Olaf, I don't know, he might become less relevant. He does have the Ragnarok, which will help against any CC brought to the table by the side of Becky's Babes, but actually the comp that they've brought, Yi, Riven, Kai'Sa, there's not a huge amount of game-breaking CC on the side of Becky's Babes anyway. The Ragnarok isn't going to get a lot of value. This isn't something like Braum, Sejuani, or something where you can break free of the stuns. Like, maybe if Becky does go with the Morgana, then the Ragnarok will be able to get away from those at least, but overall, I think Zakam should have a better time in the early game, but later in the game, and overall with his ultimate, not going to have as much value as he probably wants.
It definitely, I like it. I do like it. It's something you don't see often. It's not like it's bad. Like, Olaf Jungle is not bad. It's just not great. And usually when a champion is not great, a lot of people like to just say, oh, this champion's bad at this. But I don't think he's bad.
Well, in professional play, Olaf is basically the #1 jungler and has been for a number of patches. So Zakam, he does have some, some backup there on his pick for sure. I mean, Olaf is a very powerful pick, especially early on. If you play aggressively with the Olaf, you can get some big advantages and kind of snowball your lanes that way.
I definitely need to start rewatching or getting caught up on the LCS. I could be just a few games behind. Based on the fact I'm still stuck back in week 6. So, we can... So we have seen all the ban adaptations being thrown out. We saw pretty much the same standard Fiora ban that we've seen throughout the entire time. We see the Kayn ban. Once again, just don't want Sir Cave to have that, an Echo ban. Do you think this ban adaptation was fine on the side of Obama Loving Libtards? Do you like it, or like you did last time, or do you think you really wish that there was someone else that they could have kept away?
I think it's fine. It's very spread out, though. It's one ban for every role. Generally, I don't like that, but it's okay. I mean, the problem is that most of their banning strategies have not worked, so not a bad idea to try something new every time if the previous thing didn't work. So they're trying out one ban for every lane. I mean, generally not something you see, generally not something that's advised, but at this point, game point, I think anything new you try is worth a shot because they have to pick up a win now, or else it's game over.
Definitely got to be in the back of their minds. So the Annie mid against the Aurelia mid. Or it still could. I don't want to rule out the possibility of Soongale taking Aurelia top, because I know we've seen Kite on that, and we haven't seen Soongale run Aurelia, but we have seen him run a lot of Riven. So I do understand that it is most likely going to be Riven top at Aurelia mid, and we'll assume that, but it is still possible because Aurelia is a good top laner, mostly top laner, and Riven is someone you can take both, even though you take your mostly top. So do you have any knowledge or insight on how you think this Annie versus Aurelia matchup may go?
As far as I know, the Annie was just an auto pick because that's just the first champion there. So I don't believe it's actually an Annie coming through.
Oh, that is true. As your Candy is the one who crashed, so may not see Annie then. I did not think about that.
It might actually be a Bard mid. I'm a little bit curious about that. As far as Bard mid, I mean, I think Bard is a good champion, but I can't imagine that being successful against a Riven or an Aurelia. You've got the one stun, and then you've got basically nothing. You have to play perfectly, and you have to play really safe as the Bard if you are in the mid lane. Not sure if it is going to be Bard support or not, but if it is the Bard mid, that's going to be a really tough matchup. Taco's going to have to play it perfectly, and with Kite against him in the mid lane, that could be bad news.
Could be. Now, another person who has received an MVP from Vest, but hasn't been receiving too much acknowledgement, running with the Kai'Sa bot lane while having perfect CS in, well, not perfect CS, but 10 CS every minute, constantly, every game, is Faplord. Gonna see how well he can play this this Kai'Sa. It's not a new champion anymore, but it's still there's plenty of room for them to have mastered Kai'Sa. But we'll have to see.
I mean,
like, I don't know. What do you think?
I think the Kai'Sa is an excellent pick. I'm not sure how confident he is on it. He looked good previously, but I think Kai'Sa is a strong pick, and this guy is an unsung hero of Becky's Babes. He's a very strong laner. Basically has one lane, I think, every single game that they've played thus far. Really has looked good throughout, and I think getting him the Kai'Sa is a great idea. As long as he is comfortable on the pick, which I think he is, then it should be really good. There's not a lot of answers to the Kai'Sa right now. She does have to get a couple of items. You can try to bully her in lane a little bit. Not sure if Teemo and whoever the support is will be able to do that, but that's definitely what the Obama Loving Libtards will be wanting to do, is bully her out of lane early, because late game, like I said, she scales really well. Once she gets all those upgrades onto her various abilities, gets the evolutions, it's really, really tough to contend with the Kai'Sa, because she has the ability to just jump into the backline and assassinate them. Like, you think you're playing against like a Talon or Kite's Echo or something when you're up against the Kai'Sa. I'm not sure if Kite is playing the Riven or the Aurelia. I'm going to guess the Aurelia. That is a lot of dive potential. Kai'Sa, Riven, Yi, and Aurelia. This seems like a throwback to that original comp they played of the Aurelia, Fiora, and the Jax, that diving potential, the split push potential. But this is even more so because Kai'Sa can jump in with them. Not sure who Becky will pick to kind of support all that. Honestly, my first thought is maybe a Karma, because Karma has the ability to shield everybody in an area. You can just shield the whole team and then dive as a team, and it could be terrifying to play against. But a lot of options available for Becky, because this whole team, while it's not like a straight-up team-fighting team with a bunch of CC, everyone on the team wants to do the exact same thing. They all want to dive in and get kills. So Becky, really the task ahead of her in her support pick is pretty straightforward. She can just pick a support that will synergize with that, and there's a lot that could work. They could go with the Lulu, just empower the Kai'Sa, help her out in lane. Could go with the Morgana, like I said, Morgana-Kai'Sa combo, really popular in the LCK. That could be a good pick. Could also go with the Karma. Like I said, Karma is actually a pretty strong pick lately. It's kind of had a resurgence, and with the ability to build that Ardent Sensor, every single person on her team would love the Ardent Sensor. So I almost guarantee Becky will be building Ardent Sensor regardless of who she picks, but a lot of options on the table for her. Only thing she can't pick up, the Janna that was banned away.
So, if anybody is just now joining us and confused on what's happening here, I know it seems like it's a little bit confusing with the champion select kind of being frozen there. This is a computer crash, but we are in the grand finals. We are in the second best out of 3, and I will show that up on your screen right now. This is the second best out of 3 with Becky's Babes versus the Obama-loving Libtards. Becky's Babes, having fought through the losers bracket, had to defeat Obama-loving Libtards in an additional best out of 3 in order to win the entire party brawl. And so far, they're doing extremely well, having won the last series 2-0 and starting off this one strong with the win right off the bat, looking pretty even for the first, I would say, 10 minutes or so. But after that, it started to snowball slowly out of control with the CS differences. So we've got Obama-loving Libtards who are going to be on the blue side, and Becky's Babes who are going to be on the red side. The Obama-loving Libtards have got 2 more games to win and 2 more chances. They've got no more room for error. So welcome to the grand final. And again, a PC had crashed, so the Annie is not a real pick, it is just an auto pick that was picked for Azure Candy. So we should be seeing a new pick for Azure Candy and Becky here at the very bottom of the champ select. But this is what was chosen. The picks and bans will be the exact same. We're just going to see 2 new champions being picked up here, which is why there's debate on whether Imftaku is trying to do something cheesy with a Bard mid. I think it's going to be a Bard support, but you never know. Bard mid is not necessarily something that's out of the gate when you see an Aurelia being thrown down in the mid lane.
Yeah, I'm surprised by it, and yet this is the guy that just locked in Nautilus mid. I don't think we have any idea what to expect from him at this point. It could be the Bard mid, maybe not. We'll have to see.
It's something that's interesting, and it's cheesy, but it does work sometimes. I mean, if you've ever faced that Bard support who got just a little bit of fed, you don't see him building any support items, and yet you're wondering why he's hurting like a truck. It's because he's got a lot of base AP damage. He's got a lot of damage once he starts collecting those meeps, and if he builds full AP out of that, that's just even more damage added onto it. And against something like Aurelia, where he doesn't really need to focus any difficult, complicated skill shots aside from the Q, he's got a pretty strong presence. He's just got to be very careful about how he plays the lane. So it's not impossible. Most certainly we've seen weirder, like Nautilus mid, but we'll have to see what the final picks are, of course. We do see the final person, Azure Candy, finally getting back into the lobby. So hopefully we'll be able to get you back into Champion Select soon. Hopefully the bans and picks don't take too long. We are seeing ready checks being thrown all around the board. And we do have one person that we're waiting on from the side of Becky's Babes. So it'll be possibly another minute. But then you've got the Teemo who... Oh, no, we don't have another minute. We have exactly 0 seconds. So we do also have the Teemo, as I was showing up earlier, that it's an interesting pick. You don't want to see that as an AD carry in your normals or in your ranked games especially. But when you see a comp like a Riven, heavy auto attack reliant, AD carry, Kaisa, you know, pretty much any AD carry, honestly. And then you see the Master Yi jungle. You've got 3 people already who are heavily auto attack centric. All you have to do is focus the blinds onto the people who manage to get ahead / get fed. And this will help keep Faplord under control when he's trying to get that perfect 10 CS every minute. So gonna have to see what happens, what's gonna be thrown down here. We also see the Aurelia. I don't think she's as auto attack centric as the other three I did mention, but again, an AD champion, can't be bad to blind her either.
Draft going pretty quickly as everyone's just repicking the same picks, but curious about the support picks, both of them still available. I think an interesting pick for Becky would be the Morgana or perhaps the Lux. If she builds the full AP Lux, not only would that balance out a team that was full AD, but also the ability of this team to get kills so quickly means that as long as she throws out a final spark, she'll get the cooldown refunded as long as she contributed to the kill with the recent Lux changes. Becky really likes the Lux. I would not be surprised to see that picked. Might be a smart one here. As long as they think they can get through laning phase okay with the Kai'Sa and the Lux, could be a strong champion to lock in for Becky.
It would give them some magic damage. Aurelia doing a little bit of magic damage in her kit, but not as much as you're hoping for from a normal mid laner like a Lux would bring. But finally, we are approaching the 5th pick for both sides, so we should see some new champions coming out here.
This should reveal if it is Bard mid or not. I think it is the Bard mid. This is something that neither Taco nor Azure Candy has played much, at least not in ranked. We'll have to see. The Bard, rather. I'm not sure what Azure Candy will lock in. The patented Xayah support not available. Really, I think with a Teemo ADC and a Bard mid, she can pick really anything. It's really hard to say what she will go with.
Shyvana. So that another Q dodge. I will get you guys information on that as soon as it is as soon as it's available. But it seems like once again it is her PC crashing once more. Her computer is kind of dead in the water. It is trying its best to float above the level and trying to get some oxygen, but it's just covered in water. It's been tossed into the ocean, unloved, unwanted.
Unfortunate. It gives us more time to debate. We still don't know if this is a Bard mid. I assume Shyvana as well was something of a mistake pick along those lines, so we're still left wondering what is happening with those two picks.
All we have to do is just go through the list of every single support possible. Let's start with Aatrox. I think Aatrox would be great here. All right. Now, don't you mock me or laugh at me.
No, please go on.
All right, I gotta
enlighten me in the ways of the Aatrox support.
Gotta throw it out there here. So they've got a lot of AP damage, right? They've got AP damage from Bard. They've got magic damage dealing from Shen.
I heard in Twitch chat though this could be the attack speed Bird.
Oh man,
we're talking static Shiv.
Oh man, if this is the attack speed Bard, we have a completely different game here. The Aatrox may not be as great of an option. What are you thinking, Azure Candy? It just does not match up here. It's not. It does have a knock-up, and it does have a slow. I will grant you those. But unfortunately, it just does not bring what you want out of a support. You can't really build tanky, and they may want a third tank here with this Teemo and Bard.
Some interesting stats here on patch 8.7 on support. Top 4 top supports right now by win percent. Rek'Sai 56.8, Xin Zhao 56.5, Pantheon 55.0, and Sion 54.1. Now Sion support has been a thing for quite a while, always has a high win rate, but those other three being the top 3, very, very weird. All of them with very minuscule pick rates compared to the very high pick Janna, 13% on the Janna with a nearly 54% win rate. So Janna just a really strong laner overall. Second up though is the Nami. If I'm not mistaken, that is available. So Nami being a really strong support in the meta right now. Soraka down a little ways. I know that's something that Becky plays as well as Azure Candy. So we'll see if they place value on the Nami or the Soraka for either of these support players. Both pretty strong picks with the Janna banned away. But like I said, Morgana being a really great pick with the Kai'Sa. And I also threw out Karma being able to just buff up the entire team with the Ardent Sensor so easily. Karma would be a great pick. And Lux as well, if she does build Ardent Sensor, with the luck shield, you can often get a couple of people, and if she doesn't, you can go with the full AP. Karma and Morgana have that option as well. Being able to bring some mag damage to the table, and also all of them great Ardent Sensor users for a team that is heavily physical damage and auto attack based.
Indeed. Curious to see how it goes down. We do have, I believe it is an FF or surrender/forfeit. I don't believe that Azure Candy will be able to proceed past Champion Select, and so I think this may very well be it. If it is, congratulations to Becky's Babes for winning. Sorry for the forfeit.
Is that a confirmed forfeit?
I don't know. I haven't gotten any confirmation, but I haven't gotten any no, we're still proceeding forward yet.
I see. Well, unfortunate for Azure Candy and her computer not able to handle the League of Legends right now. Perhaps resulting in a forfeit would be unfortunate. We're always eager for a little bit of extra action, a little bit of extra League of Legends that we get a chance to watch and cast, but I think that the case is apparently that she is not able to participate. Not sure if they have a substitute or something like that, but I just got an instant feedback report, but I haven't played League in like 24 hours. That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
They told you haven't. Is that seriously a drug return? No, we can't talk about this. Anyways, so I still haven't received any word that this is not happening, so I guess it's kind of to be assumed that this is a forfeit. So congratulations to Becky's Babes. Until I hear word otherwise, I guess we kind of have to go under the assumption that this is over.
Well, unfortunate that we don't get to see any more games today. However, we did get to see some very fun games, a lot of action, some very bloody, chaotic games, and certainly a fun series to watch and a fun one to cast. And I think a well-earned victory thus far by Becky's Babes. They did win 3 games in a row. They won the first series and then game 1 of the second series. So not exactly, like we didn't get to see anything, like they didn't earn it or anything. They looked really, really great in those first 3 games and played very well. So congratulations to them on the win for sure. Well played by Becky's Babes.
Indeed, it was a lot of great games that we got to see. Definitely saw a completely different Becky's Babes here than we did see day 1. Could easily contribute that to the sub AD carry. It can easily throw off the dynamic of a team when you practice with a team and then someone else has to sub in, someone that you've never practiced before with. It can really hamper communication, and especially when the team seems like it's constantly so communication orientated, it could just change the entire outcome of the match. So everyone's leaving the lobby, so pretty much confirmed it is a forfeit. Unfortunate for Obama Loving Libtards, but great games overall, a great tournament overall, and I would like to say thank you to Becky and the Party People server for having me and Vestborger over here to cast. It was a lot of fun, some great games, and thank you to everyone who participated. It was a lot of fun to watch your games. I'm sorry that we couldn't get to all of them, but I'm sure you all gave it your best. Is there any closing words you want to give here, Vest?
I mean, pretty much just echo what you said. I mean, it was a lot of fun to cast. Well played by Becky's Babes, and thanks to all the participants. It was a ton of fun to cast, and hope they come back for the next tournament. All
right, and I do have one last statistic to throw out to everybody. I have heard that those who have banned Evelyn have never lost a game of League. I'm just throwing that statistic out there. It's not biased. It is a real statistic. Google it, and you will probably find it. It's hidden in the internet, though. Don't want that secret to be out to too many people, so don't spread it too far. But anyways, this is Eodor and Vestborger, your casters, and we are going to be signing off. Goodbye.
See ya.